Yo, what's up? What's up? Welcome back, everybody. We are here with another episode of The Junk Drawer. And today we got a few special guests, our friends here. I'll go in the order as you see everybody. Obviously, there's a giant fucking mix up here. I can't get Discord to just show the picture images, so you get to see our sidebar chat for our Discord, which if you're not in, by the way, our chat bot will drop in and show you guys a way to get in there. So we're gonna start from top left all the way down to the bottom right. We got top left. We got Bro Namath is in the house with us. We got DOC the OG. We got Dane. We got Ginger Fusion to my left. We got I Know a Guy Collectibles to my right. Javier Nothing But Dough right here to my bottom left, and we got Legends, the 20. I guess it would be considered 2023 Dragon Ball Super champion. All right there. That champ is in the house with us tonight. And I'm sure, as you guys could tell by the title, we're going to be talking a little bit about Dragon Ball Fusions, Dragon Ball Fusion Worlds, and we're going to be talking about some of the stuff that came along with Fusions and the release of the online client, and kind of a little bit of the Dragon Ball Z market spike that we've all been obviously noticing. And yeah, it should be a fun conversation for everybody. You guys get a little insight on how the whole day or the weekend of between I guess Worlds and Battle Hour goes and such and so forth. So I think that you guys will have a great time in learning here. So if you guys have any questions regarding anything at any given time, just drop a comment and we'll try to do our best to address and have the proper correspondent answer that question for you guys. So yeah, fucking wild weekend just passed. Dragon Ball Super Worlds 2023 just happened, and that was fucking nutty. I wouldn't say never, but the last Worlds after was kind of crazy. So to see the spike in Dragon Ball in general in the past 3-4 days has been absolutely nuts. Just people have kind of like re-engaged themselves and re-sparked, and I feel like it's a positive reinforcement for the collecting space of Dragon Ball. So I think that I think we owe some credit to the people that make that collecting space fun for us. So we could talk real quick. I know Ginger was part of Ginger, you didn't go to you went to Worlds, right?
Nope.
No,
I only
Ginger.
went to nationals.
Nationals. Okay, that's right.
I was there rooting for our beautiful champion over there. Extremely excited as you are number one happened, which was an amazing moment in the fans. But nope. We just were me and Dane. We watched from the sideline. Dane got what place for the finals?
13th technically. I think you just take your seed place when you lose right away, so top 16/13th, whichever it is.
Yeah.
I lost to said world champion along the way. We played exactly one game, and this is our first and only game we've ever played, by the way. We are teammates. We talk several times a week about how we play our decks. That is the first game of Dragon Ball we had ever played. It was a top 16 of nationals.
That's
and
awesome.
I also lost in top 8 to Michael Legend. So he beat me in Swiss, and then I played him, and then I lost in Time Rules. And we made the joke that had we been in any other bracket, it would have been so easy because then top 4 would have advanced, and we could have had a chance to both of us be there. But it just came down to tiebreakers where it was just team KO, because we had 4 players. We also had Robert DaCosta in top 16. So I believe, if I'm correct, the 3 of you were still on previous team PPG Expo, and that was the highest representation, right?
Yeah.
And 100% of Team Ginger Fusion was in attendance. So I guess technically we had the highest percent. But yeah.
Ginger, real quick, you're solely like there's no one on your team. It's just you, correct? Like I'm not missing out on anyone there.
This would be a good segue for I guess our captain to talk about it if he wants to.
Yeah, I'm trying not to go into so much detail, but we'll ink a little bit. So this was our last year playing with FoX PVG. And I wanted to end it out like we have like a 3-year contract with them at this point, and I wanted to end it out on a high note. So I don't think you can get any higher than like finishing as the world champion for them. So
I'd agree. I'd agree.
so this is our last time playing with them, and we are going to be starting our own brand and our own team to take the game by storm. But stay tuned, and we'll let that out later for sure.
That's awesome. Wow, well, congratulations on,
that's
on both ends. Um,
I'm trying to convince them now to have sleeveless shirts, and they're really fighting it. So if you guys can
Absolutely not.
I think that's the future. But we keep it classy with the collar. You got to have a collar with a sleeveless tank top.
God, jeez, dude.
Because if it's not about being special, are you even here?
Dude, bro, Namath heard sleeveless collared shirts. He's like, yeah, dude, that's me right there. I can see it in his face.
You can't stand up now.
That's the most college hunk thing I heard today so far.
That's fucking awesome. All right, so listen, let's elaborate a little bit. Talk to me. We're showing up in Los Angeles. We're here. How does the whole weekend kind of unravel for us here? Going into Worlds.
Well, actually, we get to. Oh, go ahead. First,
No, I mean, really, it's like a whole season, right? Like that's kind of the whole point. Historically, they've done like you have to get an invite to play at national level events, and in this case, it funneled into Worlds. But for us this year, it was open invite with anybody who was going to have said previous invite, got a round 1 bye. We showed up, LA, Friday night check-in? I don't know about you guys, line was obscene. One Piece and Digimon and Bandai Card Fest and Dragon Ball all taking off, just huge games right now. And then Saturday was the actual Nationals event and followed through with what we played to top 4. Top 4 then played the next morning, where then on stream, everyone watched Legends Michael Carrick become the world champion, thanks to Battle Hour.
And it was even cooler for me as a player. This was my first year of being, although I unaffiliated myself with the team, like for the finals, because I knew I didn't want to. I kind of wanted to represent myself for nationals, whether win or lose. I just wanted to be me. And on Friday, as I always talk about in my content, my hip gave out. So all the travel, everything caught up to me. And so Ginger was broken, and I was broken bad. The line Dane's talking about, after about a half an hour of us standing in it, I gave up. I became like a child. I was like, this is stupid. I don't want to sign up. I'm going home. And I literally just walked to my hotel, lied in bed with like all my clothes on, and like the most, it was the saddest moment ever. And I was done. And that was actually like I was probably going to be the end of my nationals. Like, I don't even know if I would have even made it the next day. And about an hour later, when these guys, Michael and the other guys got through, I got a call being like, hey, we're picking you up. We're going to Hollywood. And I was like, I don't think I really want to. We're picking you up. And he was pretty nice about it. And then I found, I was walking with them and I wasn't doing well. And I was just getting worse and worse. Like they walked at my pace, which was nice. But like, it sucked. And I kept getting like darker and darker. And at some point my wife called me and she's like, hey, what's going on? Like, I can see you making some posts. Like, what's up? And she made me go get like Frozen. So I had like treatment there for like, like getting it iced and everything. And then instantly resolved most of my symptoms. Next thing I know, I'm playing, and I played a phenomenal day. Like, it was a blast. Like, we talked about the fun we had. My only 2 losses were to teammates, which sucked. But like, had I not had a team though, that was the first event where, like, this has happened to me before. Ever since my injury, I've always had events where the hip is given out from travel, and I've just kind of like just accepted, like, all right, well, we're not going to play, or I'm not going to top. And so to get top 8 after losing like a bunch of functionality, it was only possible because of my team. So I was pretty excited to reform with them. So it's kind of like the friendship part.
Literally by beating me in round 7, by the way.
It was a game. We had fun.
Yeah, it was a game.
Yeah.
Do you guys, so I mean, obviously, you're all older guys. No one's really a child here. And I just asked this from like from a standpoint where like in my mind, I'm not really that competitive when it comes to things like that. Do you guys like, are there feelings involved when you guys beat each other, or is it just kind of like, hey, this is my teammate, on to the next? It's
It sucks. You want to play good players, right? And recognize like, okay, this person that I'm fighting is like quote unquote worthwhile beating, right? Not only from a competitive standpoint of I need my opponents to have good records so that way I can go on to get good points, but also like you just don't want to be doing this. Like in Top Cut especially, it was really brutal. Like we did a lot of team kills towards the end of the rounds, but when you're all X1, you know, X like undefeated, like okay, you know, someone's got to lose there. But we like all 4 of us that were in there were in the same quadrant, the same bracket of top 16. There was only one of us that could have made top 4 out of all 4 of the players in PPG that got there.
So, do you guys like, just in the back of your mind, do you like, you know, for example, Dane, you know, you're playing and you're like, you know, you're playing Ginger or you know, Legends, and you go, you know, these guys have a better odds of going and winning at the end. So, you know, not to say that you would purposely lose, but like, you know, is there like times where you're just like, you know, this could be a pivotal moment for me that, you know, maybe, you know, not to say you draw back, right?
Yeah.
So like in for example, sporting events and things like that, I'm sure that there's, you know, friendly rivalries where people are like, you know what, I'm gonna let this one go because it makes more sense for it to be this way than not.
Yeah.
You get a big advantage in Dragon Ball. Not to interrupt you, Dane, but to answer that, you get a huge advantage by going in the higher seed. So, like in our match, Legends got to go first, and then it came down to time. The game where I went first, I think Legends would agree. I brutally was able to like it was a very like with all the cards I have, made him discard the right cards, but it was a lot more I could be in control. And when against Dane, when I went first, same thing. Where like he was complaining about how much aggression I was able to bring. But if they go first with the deck they were playing, it's a very even match. You know, they could win, they could lose, but they're in control, and I have to push. Whereas when I go first, so you never want to give up that advantage. So you're playing it out 100%. I think the only time any of us would consider it would have been had like I got paired up for my round 8. And so
Wait a second, Robbie. So before you say anything about this, I'll answer that question more directly. No, because it's against the rules in Dragon Ball, and none of us want to be banned for that. That's the correct answer I have to give you. If that makes sense.
But, so there's been tournaments where the other people have done it, where they've just conceded, but then like it ruins their chances of getting top for other teams.
I think it ruins competitive integrity too a lot of the times, right? You want to uphold that because it makes the win better when you know that it was 100%.
And generally speaking, we always do have to play each other. Like we always talk about when we want to play each other. Like I unfortunately was responsible and did it. I had 2 team kills and I had 2 teammates kill me. And you got to figure there's only 9 rounds and there's only 6 of us or 7 of us that were in the contention. Yeah, so 7 of us, and I'm one of them. So there's only 2 of my team members I didn't play in the event. And out of 500 or 420 players, I did not expect to play that many teammates, and no one else played that many. But we all expect that as we advance, we're going to play each other. You're just hoping for that final round, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're playing, you know, if we're both playing each other in the final round, we're both guaranteed. It makes it more enjoyable and more fun. And in the case of Legends and I, when we did play in the final round, it was a very close game. It was fun, but we both had a chance of still making top cut, whichever one of us lost. So even though I was nervous because I was the one who lost, it kind of it softened the blow a little bit because it wasn't like, oh, you're dead, move on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, and forgive me, I didn't mean to like divulge into that conversation. I'm not familiar with like the rules or things like that, so I don't know how like the competitive level of things work. You know,
getting people in trouble.
No, I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble. It's just an honest question, right? I don't have a position in how any of that stuff works. It was actually funny. Prior, I was telling Dan that when he was saying, you know, if you want to learn how to play Fusion Worlds, I'll teach you. And I'm like, I downloaded the online client to play during the beta testing, and like I think I literally had like an aneurysm midway through the 3rd tutorial. I was like, yeah, I don't know if this is gonna work out. And so I'm sure at some point I'll try again on a physical level, but going on from that. But yeah, no, I was just curious. I don't know, you know, again, like that's not an uncommon thing in sports, so I figured I'd ask like if that was like a thing. So
it really depends on the card game company, because there are ones that are like, yeah, you can concede at any time for any reason. It's totally up to you.
Okay.
But Bandai kind of views it more in like the collusion side of things, and so try it. You know,
in Magic used to be the norm was so the reason why we don't do that is Magic the Gathering is a very different pro format. But in that game, generally speaking, for Top Cut, you only really get to play out your first 4 rounds. And so the first people who go undefeated in the first 4 rounds of like a 7-round event, they'll do a thing called intentional drawing. And so they get 1 point, and then they get 1 point for the next round and the final round. And so they're all guaranteed to be top 8. But they only actually really played 4 rounds. So they'll just relax the rest of the tournament. And it really sucks. Obviously, if you go 3-1, you're so close to that, but you'll have to play out the rest of your rounds. You can't just ID. And so Bandai is very much so. I think the only person who's gotten banned for cheating for it was, of course, a guy that played in 2021 because he actually tried to convince an opponent to be like, make it worth your while if you concede. And so they like to avoid all of that.
Oh.
Believe his name.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he got
Not
straight up-
cheating.
I
It's
was
just
to-
against the
I-
rules.
I was totally
Yeah,
about
it's not
to make
cheating.
this
You're just
super political.
a morally bankrupt.
Oh, cheating if you snitch.
Well, he did. He actually did it in front of like 10 players and a judge. Like he was just like,
brazen.
yeah, he was just like, this is what it is. I need to advance.
At least he was honest. You know. So. All right. So talk to me. Tell me. Battle Hour was a big thing for a lot of people. Like Battle Hour, last year was wild and blew up on all social platforms, especially when it came to like the packs from Battle Hour. And obviously the spike came back, right? The Battle Hour, fucking whatever the fuck that whole scenario is. People were there. They were fucking just cringing on the packs. And but I want to know what Battle Hour is.
Battle Hour is Toei Animation and Bandai's like Dragon Ball centric event. I think this is the third one they've done, and the second one where it's like open to the public. It's really basically their big advertisement push for anything Dragon Ball. If you like Dragon Ball, you can have fun at this event in some way, right? They've got the different panels. The big thing is that they have the competitive aspects and finals for all of their games. Truly, a marketing genius went, what if we just made the world finals for Fighters, Fusions, Dragon Ball Super Card Game Masters, Dokkan Battle? Like, it's all happening there, and it's just this big marketing push. And then we always get a concert from, I'm not going to butcher his name, but the guy who sings Chala He Chala. And this year we got the Daima panel as well. So it's so magical. If you're a Dragon Ball fan, it's truly a non-missable experience.
So actually, I have a question about that because I didn't get to ask you guys. I didn't really have any time to really do any of that stuff. Like I didn't even get to get the cheat. I wanted the keychains because they had like Dokkan Battle, and I didn't get the water bottle. Like it literally was like, oh cool, you're playing. I didn't realize at some point I never ate dinner. Like you're just like, oh cool, we played all day, and then the fusion event went all day as well. So it was like, oh cool, there's all these things. It's almost like being teased. I'm trying to think of another comparison because the only comparison I have is like a strip club. So that but that's a bad comparison here. But it's kind of like that for me. It's just that imagining where like you're just looking around, but you don't get to enjoy any of it. It's not for you.
A lot of willpower.
Yeah,
a lot of willpower to not go and drop out and just be like, yeah, so they have a Tenkaichi 1 set up over there, and I'd like to be 12 again. Brand new PlayStation. It's really something like you cannot believe unless you're actually there.
They had a VR for fighting Cell. You could be Gohan and fight Cell Juniors, and like I really wanted to do that. Like I was just like, yeah, this sounds great. And then it started at 1 p.m. right in the middle of our tournament, and it closed like round 4. And I was like, oh cool, you guys can be Gohan. I never wanted to be Gohan. That's fine.
So all right, so basically it's it's like a pre-Worlds party essentially, or like you kind of have fun with everything. Like it's kind of like an open. I would say open to the public. It's you could publicly register, right? Like as long as you make the cut to the entry.
Oh, you can. There's spectator passes.
There's visitor passes. You can go, and it's like a theme park, Dragon Ball style theme park. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And people
it'll
just
be
go.
interesting. It'll be interesting to see what's up because this year you could tell as players that like the focus was not on Masters because it's specifically digital product. That's actually the purpose of their thing. So it's not just Dragon Ball. It's all the things they're trying to sell that are digital. Well, the big part and what's the best part about Fusion World that I cannot ever deny is it's a digital product. So next year, I fully expect that there will not be a Masters component at whatever this is. Instead, you'll probably see like something to do with Fusion World, because then they can bring in like a digital client and like figure it out and do it. I could be wrong, but I fully expect that to be the transition.
It's possible. I mean, anything is possible at this point. So, while we're here, obviously, okay, we have a little background on Battle Hour. You know, transitional to Worlds, Legends. Talk to me, man. Did you go there thinking that it was possible that you would be the world champion? Like, did that cross your mind at any point prior to like really advancing?
No, I might be one of the most like, my friends call me like the biggest liar, the humblest player they know, because I view every game as just one after another, right? Like people would come up to me and be like, "Hey man, my money's on you for this event." I'd be like, "Man, I'm just hoping I win my next match." You know, that's all I'm here for. So yeah, so every round that I got closer, I was just thinking, "Oh my god, like this could actually be real." And everybody was like, "Man, you got this. Like you got to get it." And I'll be like, "Man, this is actually becoming real." And then if you saw the stage up there when I did make it into Worlds, and then or even like when for every round that I won Worlds, I was like a child. It's like fist pumping in the air, like every time I won, it was just the coolest thing. And I mean, there's a little bit of luck to it, right? It is a card game, so there's a lot of skill, but a very bit of luck. And I just
really
think
good at rolling dice this weekend, aren't you?
I think a lot of it was I was partly the luckiest player in the room. In addition,
I mean, there's got to be some level of like unexperienced excitement when you get into a position that, right? So dude, I can't imagine. What was the adrenaline level like?
Oh, like 1,000%. I'm a adrenaline junkie to begin with. Right? Like I jump out of planes, I do stuff, but like this was incomparable. You know? This was just such a cool feeling. And
at what point in the game did you realize that you like had it? Was it late? Was it?
It was turn 3. Game 2, turn 3. My opponent's turn 3. He is the defending world champion this year. So it was really cool to like actually be playing against the defending champ. He'd made it all the way back to the finals, and he has like an air of confidence about him, which is awesome. He's a really good guy. And anyway, so he was playing. He's playing this card called "You Are Number One," which is suitable for like the defending world champion. It's just such a like you can't write better than that. And he looked through his deck, and the 2 targets that he wanted to hit in his deck just happened to be one of his 8 life. And so at that point, I knew I'd won. Like, if I was blessed, like that was the blessed moment when like he had a game-winning option that he played, and I wasn't gonna lose to it. And you could kind of see me in the footage, this footage of the match now. I can kind of like I do a little prayer when I realize that like he missed, and then I lean back, and I'm just so much more comfortable once I realize the game is over. And then I just had to execute from that point on. You know, I just had to make sure all the moves went in the right direction, and it was just kind of like a storybook in my mind. And then the moment it happened, I just leapt out of my seat. It was unbelievable.
You could really see it. It was cool as a fan. We obviously, so the streams are a big part about Dragon Ball. It's very stressful anyway, normally. So on a stream, normally you only see our cards. You generally don't get to see our faces. So for this event, because there's a full setup, you have to see their faces. And it was really, what he's describing is 100% it. But the part he doesn't realize, because, you know, he's looking at what Tarpini's looking at, or how do I say his name? And when he's doing it, he is excited, right? Because he actually got an advantage by Legends was playing a deck where he got a ramp or gained an extra card. And that meant that he got to gain an extra effect too. So it actually put him in the best position to win. And this was like his window to win. And besides the negate, Legends couldn't do anything about it. Like this was a great opportunity for him. And you could feel the confidence coming off of him. He was smiling, he was grinning, he cast it. And the second he casts it, he starts looking. And once it gets to half full, you see him start to slump over. And that's the worst part about it. Like we can see it all unraveling. And then he makes it all the way to the end. And he puts his head down as Legends goes back. And like, so it's literally just like he's crushed. And you see Legends just be like, oh yeah. And then he just goes card by card just to make sure he didn't miss it. And you can see him just like, it's not panic. He's very controlled. Like he's a great player. He handled it really well. But you can tell he's like, he's pretty much defeated, right? he's got still a target, but the odds of him winning went from like astronomically high to like he has to kind of just hope that Legend's hand is all crap. Like it was basically just done right then and there, and so it was a very cool moment in the like. I imagine for Worlds you guys will get to see it, and you'll see what we're talking about because they're going to be making that into like some sort of content later that they stream.
Is it? Do you get like a unsportsmanlike conduct like flag if you were like be over like excited about it? Like, is that just frowned upon? I don't know. Like, if it was me, dude, I won, and I was like, I'd have slow rolled that last card, and then I picked up my deck and it's right in his face. I don't know. That's just me, right?
Start crip walking.
I think in the rule book there is a section about sportsmanlike conduct, but I don't think that's been like an issue that judges have had to execute on. Though it would be funny, and I'm sure will come.
What if the other guy, he knows he's losing, he just flips the fucking table, right? Like he's just had it.
That's
you know,
a lot of upper muscle because these tables are 9 people long with everyone's stuff on them. But
well, what
if they're yoked,
it'd be funny if he tried.
I would
if
laugh,
he's just sitting there like,
Maybe at that point you just be like, awesome, like let's go. I mean, like a guy like Brandon size, he's got the biceps for it, he can do it. But us card players, no, we might need like all 9 of us to flip the table. Like it's not happening. What's funny is we kind of do the opposite though. So when we trash talk, it's kind of like the opposite. So both Legends were doing it and Dane throughout the tournament were like, if I was like, I played Dane and I got lucky on the dice roll, so I got to go first. And I was doing a lot of effects that he didn't like. And he kept making comments about them. And he would just be like, must be nice. Oh, you've got that too. Oh, could you maybe just back off a little bit? And like, it was fun because he was the one doing it. But I played an opponent, I think it was round 4, who also got top 8. Very nice guy. And he was just making jokes about it, but he won the dice roll. And he was a bad matchup for me. So I was already like nervous, right? And my leader had an ability where I could look at cards at like the top 5. And I can only grab a green Saiyan. So turn 1, I swing, no green Saiyans. So I whiff. And that's very bad, because that means I attacked him for no value. Turn 2, I whiff again. And he does the fist pump and he goes, this is my game. And I was just like, okay, fine. Like, you're already really excited. Turn 3, I whiff again. And he goes, yeah. And he starts clapping. I'm like, all right, it's getting to be a little much now. I get it. You're happy. And then on turn 4, I whiffed again, which is insane. The odds, like, you got to figure my deck is, I think, 40 out of 50 card Saiyans, it feels like. It's not that high. I think it's 36. Like, it shouldn't be possible to miss twice, let alone 3 times before. But on the last one, I was like, all right, take a second, dude. Like, now I'm getting a little tilted because I was the opposite, where, like, I was just like, dude, you're getting everything. And I barely beat him, but I still could I had to try so hard to outplay him that when we finished the match, I literally just had to, like, stop and just breathe because I hadn't been breathing for, like, 2 minutes.
I'm telling you, man,
if you're over in watching right now and you're a sub at twitch.tv/DaneReich, we have an emote for this exact moment. It's called the Better Player Alert, where you show your skill at drawing cards, winning dice rolls, drawing your one of. You're just the better player, and that requires the Dane Reich Better Player Alert.
I'm telling you, man. I don't know. I going back to the whole player conduct, right? I'm just thinking about it, like, you're in a position in such high intensity, and I don't know. I'm different. I'm just like I don't want to say I'm a piece of shit, but like I'm just like if I was ever in that
petty.
If I was ever in that moment, you just give me that one, that 1 minute, dude, where the light's on me, dude, and like I know I won, dude. This is me right here. I'm like this. I don't know if you actually hold cards in your hand like this, but
start making
I'd
it
be
right.
like, I just the one here. It's game over. I'm fucking throwing these cards at you, bro, just like that, right to your face, dude. And like, I think that would be epic. And if Bandai doesn't allow that, I think that they should give you that one opportunity at the very last game.
What is wrong with you?
Just watch a bunch of dudes who play cards all day fight each other, dude. It would be epic. Oh my god,
I'd be kicked out.
That would be pretty awesome.
I think the weirder part about it is it's kind of the opposite. Like, even though we're competitors, like, there's a lot, like, on the forums and stuff, you see a lot of people post, there's a lot of negativity and all that. But at the events, it's kind of like, for lack of a better term, it's like we're 420 acquaintances and friends. So it's like, if you did that, probably they'd laugh about it because, like, none of my opponents were rude, none of my opponents were aggressive. Like, we just were playing, and, like, it's almost like a weird flipping of switches, right? Like, we show up, you play the match, You're in the moment, you're doing it. Then all of us immediately need to get water, like refresh for the next game. We're all looking forward to it. And then the second the event's over, we all become sellers. Like everyone's posting on the forums. We're all taking pictures of our stuff, trying to move whatever we can to pay for our trip. But it's all like in unison. Like you can almost see the entire, like the Wi-Fi slows down as everyone's uploading their images on Marketplace.
The table deck
Scalpers.
profiles as everyone lines up and everyone else has got a different camera in front of them.
Yeah,
Scalper. Scalper.
That's me. That's one of them.
So, hey, I gotta ask, Dane. So, I know that you said you didn't win, obviously, right?
Unfortunately.
But talk to me about your experience there. You know, we heard Ginger's obviously legends. I mean, there's really not much to say. He's a legend, clearly. Tell me about you, bro.
Yeah.
I want to know.
Sure. So I've been playing for like 4 years now, and I had seen like sprinkles of success. I got like 17th, so I bubbled out of an event. Got second at like one regional, making a new deck archetype for what was that, 2021 Golden Frieza. But this last year, I have felt unstoppable. I topped 9 of the 9 regionals I went to. Top 16 every single one. I lost 3 finals, which hurts. That's, you know, finals matches of any regional is effectively a $2,000 money match minimum. That's great. And then at nationals, which has historically been my worst event last year, even after winning a regional 2020 at the end of 2022, I proceeded to go 4-4 drop at last year's nationals, and that's like that was already better than the other 2 nationals I played in. So this was a big experience to be able to move forward, go X2, losing my feature match, which will be uploaded, I'm sure, in the next couple of days, and then to Robbie the next round, but proceeding to get 2 other really great wins. I mean, Robbie, I think, is also in that boat. I played 4 of the top 16 competitors in the 8 rounds that I actually had to play. So I got 2 wins, 2 losses to those. So it was just really huge to be able to go to these events and show your stuff, right? Robbie thinks I'm the most consistent player in the game right now, which is really a blessing. I'd like to get my full W soon, but I am excited to just keep it going, and hopefully under a new brand this upcoming year, we're gonna literally first place across the board. We were already pretty close. If you look at, there's a player keeping a spreadsheet of like the top 16 placings every year. We're already like half or more of the regional wins, but we need a full sweep. First or nothing.
I mean, no, I think 13 out of 15 regionals is pretty dang good. I don't know if we need to be.
Did we
exact.
really get 13
Yeah,
of them?
13 out of 15. It's crazy.
Yeah, 13 out of 15. I took 3.
We need 15 out of 15.
Yep, that's what I'm saying.
15 out of 15.
This guy gets it.
Oh, man.
So is there how do you, you know, it's to me just because, you know, and I'm sure just like the rest of us, you know, me, Javier, Wagyu, and Doc. How do you determine like the deck you're playing? How do you determine the cards that are going to be, you know, of substance? How do you know, do you really even know? Like, I know that I've heard Ginger obviously talk in videos when he posts on Instagram. You know, he says, you know, you test. But like, you know, there's so many cards in sets. Like, how many variations do you test?
Oh, it's so layered. And then there are just so many different personalities on the team too. Like we had a team of 7 go to nationals, and I think we had like 4 or 5 different decks that we brought to nationals. That like already indicates how different we are. So, but that also provides so much opportunity for testing, right? Because then Robbie could test a deck while I simultaneously test something else. And then the problem begins is once you come up with something great, it's on our team members to find something to defeat it. So then we have to go to the next layer where we find something to defeat that. And at some point you have this like Death Note-esque layer of like tech choices in your deck that you have to come up with to bring to a tournament. And finally you just like, all right, what am I comfortable with? And then we'll go from there, find what layer that we're comfortable with whatever we're comfortable with, and take that to a deck. So like, Robbie's always been an aggressive person. You kind of tell by his personality. He's just he's the guy that probably would throw his cards across the table when he wins Worlds. He's that guy, right? But he's also a fun guy as a result. So he always brings something aggressive. Whereas
Okay.
Dane and I are more poised, and we like think out many turns ahead as we play the game, and kind of more of like a chess approach to the game. So we play
Right.
something a style called like control decks, right? And so like, even though Robbie and I and Dane play completely varying styles, it actually helps us speed up that process of finding the best version of what we can bring for our decks to the event.
So you're saying you guys are the clean conscious thoughts, and Ginger's the hot guns, is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird too. Bandai does kind of like, they do the work for you, which is weird because like what they're talking about is 100% right? Like you have a playstyle that you like. Like I tried to change from that playstyle. I wanted to play something new, and what they're talking about is just too much. Like I fatigue around round 5. Right in the match, I can make it to about like turn 5, where I start to feel my hip, I start to feel my mind. Like I just turn 5 for me is like at a point where I'm like, it's time to kill my opponent. Like I'm over this. We've been sitting here too long. So it's always time to end it. And so we'll make something that's optimal to end on 4 or 5. Whereas some of the other guys, they really wanted to make it last longer, or they have a specific strategy. But I'm pretty sure out of I think our entire team went X2. Right? Even Jared went X2, right?
Lanza, I think, went X3. So Dalby went X3, and I think Lanza also went X3. But
okay, so we had 2 that went X3 out of 8 people all together with everybody. So like, I mean, yeah, like I mean, like what he's talking about is really the nice part about it is Bandai's going to give you the tools. So like there was only, in my opinion, 2 aggressive decks. I could play Green Gohan, or I could play something less good than Green Gohan and try to make like a U7 aggro deck. And that was kind of it. Like anything else I tried to make, which just wouldn't be as good. And but then we had to make it clever. And one of the things that Legends had helped me figure out at the very start of the year was I had a card called Zamasu. And I tried it in Oceania just as like a one of. And as the time went on, I learned that I loved this card. And the majority of my matches I won, like, and brutally beat my opponent, was because I had it on turn 2. But it was because we tried it in testing. We were like, man, this card feels really broken. And I actually regret, like, I think it would have been an easier tournament for me had I had 3 or 4 copies, which is like very aggressive amount. But it was just that good. But I never would have found it without Legends, because I wouldn't want to play that card, because to me it was a control card. It didn't have the utility that, you know, it didn't say attack. It was more of like, it was more of a tool of effect. And so the nice blend of it, Legends made a joke about it when he was playing a cooler player. At some point he turned on the keep attacking and just go for it. And I don't know if he actually did it or not, or if it was just a joke, but like that's kind of it, where you realize I need to play like somebody on my team. And that's the part where it really matters. You're like, okay, they're doing some tricky stuff. What would Dane do in this situation? I don't think Dane would attack. Dane would wait and see what they do. I'm going to pass the turn. And that's hard for me to do. But I passed so many turns where I had like 4 energy up. And I felt, for lack of a better term, like a coward. Because I was like, I'm just going to pass my whole turn. I want to attack my opponent. I want to beat them. And then I literally won the next turn because of it. They were like, that's a lot of energy. Let me attack into your energy. And I just ripped apart their hand, got their SER. But I wouldn't have done that had I not played against Dane, and he had done that strategy and taught me. So it's like a nice, it really has been where we've grown as a team at a crazy level. So it's been the best team I've ever been on.
That's awesome that you guys kind of feed off each other. So do you guys, so obviously I know we know Ginger obviously travels outside of the US to obviously go to, you know, different
Invader. American of him, yeah.
What about you, Dane and Legends? Do you guys also dabble outside of the US?
Oh, I would love to. My job makes it a lot harder to do that. But this year I was hoping to go to LATAM with Ginger, but it just didn't work out. But hopefully next year I'll be able to play in a lot more of the Asian tournaments and then come back for some of the US ones.
Okay.
He actually just got a team invite from the previous world champion. He enjoyed his match with Michael so much, he invited us to come to Italy and play in his event. And he let us know in advance we didn't have to speak Italian. We can just speak English and they know it. So his joke was, though, that he's okay with a 1-round win when he plays us. But we'll have to see if that's true or not. But that's the hope, is I can bring these guys this year and just make it a thing under our new brand. And who knows? Maybe somebody in this room will be a sponsor.
That's awesome.
So we got a question from Pat here, from Mr. Andrew. His question is, what y'all played? Said what you played last nationals. I'm assuming he's talking about debt.
This last weekend. So Legends and I actually both played new Android 21 in the name of Hunger. He has been playing it for a while. Last time I played it was on release in March for about a week, and I went, oh, I don't like how this deck is designed. I'm simply not going to do that. And so I didn't play it until 3.5 weeks ago.
And
Like,
still
it
top
was-
16 of the biggest event of 420 players.
I think it's important to study every single deck so you know how to play them, regardless of if you actually like the deck or not. But like, we were just, talking deck lists and everything like that. But it was, for sure, I think it was like the best control deck in the room. We talked earlier that Robbie's the aggro player. He attacked me on his turn 3, my turn 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. There were 2 different matches this weekend that I didn't even turn a card sideways to attack until turn 6. Not once.
I'm assuming that's late in the game.
Oh,
Yeah, that's Robbie is like upset when you make it to turn 5, and I'm like, turn 6, game will begin now.
I generally enjoy, and I'm a big fan of that. And so I played Green Gohan, and we made an optimized list that was perfect. There was no honest mistakes about it. John would have actually advanced in the world thing had he not known. Like the guy who I worked with on the deck was the Oceania champion, and then sadly for him, he lost on a technicality, which he didn't know that it was cards in a battle area for tie rules. So he was the final turn of the game. If all he did was play as the extra, he won the game. And then instead, he played a battle card, and then he had one less card in his deck. And just he had to sacrifice his location to play the battle card and kill his card, so it didn't help him any. And so had he just played as the extra, he won. And I really think that would have given Legends a run for his money a lot harder in top 4 than Mill, and it would have been more exciting. I'm happy that Legends won, and unfortunately my friend lost because that meant my other friend won. But the Green Gohan was just pure that. It was gas. Whenever I won the dice roll, which was 3 times in the whole weekend, thank you, Dane, for being one of them. Out of 8 rounds, you're hoping to at least get half dice rolls, and you won them against the good players. I killed all my opponents, I believe, on turn 4 when I won the dice roll, with the exception of Legends. He made it go to turn 5 with 1 card left in hand, and then he finally gave up when I went first for that one game. But like it was just gas, and it was fun, and I fully expect them to ban it, because when I was on stream, my opponent went first, and just from the random discard, I was able to get rid of all of his good cards. And he had won the game, and then just slowly throughout time, I made us go to turn 4, and the most popular deck, I was able to just turn it off, and then one turn bring him down from 6 life to 0, and it was just what he just talked about. Like, it was just attack, and he went all the way down in 1 turn and died, which is not a fun thing to do. You want it to feel good, and that does not.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself, dude. I love just 6-0ing the Universe 7 players this weekend. That's the best part. We don't play the game until I say we play the game.
So you guys all obviously are accomplished players, but what about collection wise? Obviously, Ginger, I know a little bit about what you collect, what you have, kind of what you keep. What about, I see it up there, Legends, Dane, what about you guys? You guys collect, you keep, you PC? Is it just Dragon Ball? Is it other TCGs?
Yeah, I guess I'll take this one first. I can't really swing my camera around, but on the other side of my room is an extensive Pikachu collection. It's like I mean, you see the poster behind me. And then a little bit of Dragon Ball, so I collect a lot of the God rares and the signed cards and like serialized cards. Just things that personally make me happy. I've never been one to collect for value. Everything I do in life is to make me happy. And then the last thing I collect are Jace Beleren cards from Magic the Gathering. Everything from the original Mind Sculptor to every printing he's ever come out. It's very little in the collecting world, just enough that I can afford it and enjoy it.
Okay, that's awesome.
Is there anything specific that you have that you're like, yo, this is my prize piece right here?
Yeah. So there's this really cool trophy I just got this weekend. It goes for quite a bit of money. It's pretty cool. It sits on my mantle.
He's so humble.
But I'm saying so let's rewind. Let's rewind. Let's just say it's January 21st. What is your most prized possession in your room?
You got to show the damn trophy now.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah,
gotta see
it's
it.
like-
All right, I'll go get it while Dane's talking. But no, my favorite card that I have in my collection, like Shadow Box wall, it's actually a card that like I got at Gen Con a couple years ago. At Gen Con they released like a short printing of Postamons. It was when Post Malone did a blend with eBay, and he created a Charizard version of Post Malone. Right? There were like 1,000 red Charizards that were released, and people went crazy over them. But then I was one of the lucky ones to get one of the 100 blue Charizards, and it is just the coolest thing I have, and it sits in my drawer, like my wall forever. It's a Post Malone Charizard. While Dane's talking, I can go grab it and show you guys.
That's
It's
sick.
so cool though.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, I have a history in a different card game from Bandai, the Naruto CCG. So back behind me, this is like the top row is several of the coolest cards that have ever existed from it. If anyone else, I'm sure everyone here is a Naruto fan in some capacity, right? And there are just some of the coolest cards up there. All the way on the very end is the new UI God Rare. That card is gorgeous. I actually use my Gogeta God Rare like a heathen. Sorry.
Oh, you use it?
I use it. I play it. I
Jordy,
wanted to
right
bring
now.
Gogeta this weekend. It is my
Jordy.
favorite deck. I play it in my deck. Yeah, the $1,200 or what is it, like 1,300 right now? I don't know, but I play it. I'm a maniac.
Gunny's calling the cops.
Nah, fuck that.
There it
Gogeta.
is.
You can play that. Play that shit.
Jordy's
It-
sick, bro.
It's mine. I'm gonna
Jordy's
play it.
sick.
I've got several graded cards. Legend's gonna love at least 3 of the 4 that I have there as PSA 10. Sensu Bean,
That's awesome.
Food Shrouded in Mystery,
Awesome.
and Apex of Power, Victory
Awesome.
Strike. Then the Toa Leader, which is my first competitive one. On the end over there are exactly 2 Pokemon cards, a base set Charizard and a Shadowless Blastoise.
Okay.
And then
I'm gonna need that Blastoise though.
Yeah,
What?
You want it? It's not.
Yeah,
It's
babe.
not that good a condition. These are like from my childhood, but
This is not for grading. This is for personal collection.
Your personal.
I collect Blastoise.
We could be in talks. Yeah.
all right.
I keep all of the signature cards from Tournament of Power and Assault of the Saiyans, and then at the very end, my holy grail. My favorite character in the game is Zamasu / Goku Black, and that is a silver Zamasu top 16 card from 2019 Nationals, which I got for $400 from a Chilean. Paid $72 in shipping and insurance. That thing is a lot more money than $400 now. So I tried to have one of every Zamasu and Goku Black card in existence, and I'm pretty darn close. I just really need to get the 2 Worlds cards and like a random stamp here or there. So much so, this is a common theme in my stream. Another emote is the Danereich All Hail. But I was given 2 of the prize Zamasu cards for free this weekend just for being there as me. People
that's
walked up
awesome.
to me and gave them to me and said, "Do you want this?" And I said, "Absolutely, I do. Thank you very much, kind viewer."
I sold
That's
mine to
awesome.
him. I wasn't that nice.
And then I got 2 more for free. It's like, what a good guy. All right, Legends, show us the prize.
Okay, so I know
We're
everyone wants
gonna
to see the
zoom
World
in here.
Championship thing. I know everybody wants to see the trophy first, but this is definitely the coolest thing. I love this thing in my collection. So this is the blue Postamon. There's like 100 of them in the world.
That thing is
released
so
at Gen Con.
sick.
It's so cool. I just love this guy. Plus, I love Post Malone. I think his music is dope. I know that's probably like a taboo thing sometimes, but dude, Sunflower, sickest song ever. So,
Yeah.
so that's like my favorite thing in my collection. And then like this is the coolest trophy I've ever seen. Not only is it a trophy, there's a freaking card in there. Like how cool is
That's
that?
pretty sick.
Yeah,
That's insane.
it is the
I
coolest
I
thing.
know a great glass shop that we can cut that out, and then we can just get it slabbed with a black label.
Someone needs to call the police, and you need to be incarcerated. Never say that again.
This thing is so cool. I couldn't let go of this. I'm not really too much of a sentimental person, but I couldn't. I was just
Once
No,
in a
I
lifetime,
mean,
you gotta hold
listen,
on.
Yeah.
dude. I think that
Yeah.
after the conversation that you were saying, obviously winning the world championship, I think that that's definitely something you most absolutely need to hold on to for forever.
yeah.
And then like once you're tired of it, you can just message me and I'll buy it off of you. It's not a big deal. It's like I probably couldn't afford that. Anyways, yeah, no, that's fucking sick, dude. Yeah, no, that's cool. We asked because obviously we're we're just collectors, right? I'm not a player of any sort. I like to learn and dabble, but strictly collectors. Doc's a collector, Wagu's a collector, Javi's a collector. Bro Namath, obviously everyone knows he is the collector. So
What's that behind you?
His collection's mid. His collection's mid, bro. It's mid, mostly silver, like 9s, 8 5s. 9 5s here.
I'm telling you, Dan, I would rip that card out of that trophy if I had that trophy.
Oh, jeez.
That's actually a good point to talk about. I feel like that's the perfect segue. Was Dane? Did you get to play in the Fusion World event, or did you do it?
I did. We don't need to talk about how I performed, but I did play in it.
Let's talk about how you performed. How do you think you did?
I had won so many great game, and then when round 4 came around, I was like, yeah, I can't top anymore, and so I just kind of dropped. To be fair, I'm like not super excited about Fusion World. It's cool because it's going to bring a lot of eyes to Dragon Ball and Master and card games as a whole. But like Legends knows, we love this game way too much, dude. Sorry. After World Championship night, we go out to eat, and the first thing we do is we get back to the house and we start playing. We just sit down at the table, we start playing card games again, dude. We cannot help it.
So I gotta ask you guys, right? So let's shift topic here, right? All right, cool. You're the world champion. Congratulations, brother. You deserve it. Yeah. You guys have a solid team. It sounds like, and obviously we wish you guys the best in that. I gotta ask though. What? You said you're not crazy about Fusion Worlds, but what is the general consensus here? Like, is Fusion Worlds going to be everything that people make it seem to be right now?
So I'm going to talk about that because I wanted to hate Fusion World. I had such a good year this year. I had 2 goals, I had 2 goals for the year. I wanted to do the best I could do and raise enough money where I could visit the world. And then my goal was one time out of all 3 worlds, I wanted to say I got a gold medal card. And then I got 2, and I was just riding that bus, and then everybody else was just talking about this new game. And I wanted to hate it so much. And then, thanks to this man in the bottom corner, I got knocked out, and so I had nothing to do that morning. And so I stood in line, and I played Fusion Worlds with the full intent of hating it, so I could make a video about how much I hated it. And I genuinely had so much fun, and I loved the environment of it, and it was genuinely a good time. And there's a whole bunch of things I'll talk about throughout it, but it was just fun. So much so that one of the things we're talking about with our team, we have a lot to figure out, but whatever part I'm managing, a big part of that will be focusing on Fusion World. And I never thought I would have said that a year ago. Like last year, if you would have asked me, hey, new games coming out, what are you going to focus on the next year? Oh, I'm only going to play Masters. I can't devote myself to 2 games. I think if I only have 1 game, I want to play Fusion Masters. And that's somebody who placed and won 1 or 2 events throughout the year, I guess. Maybe a few more. And yeah, a couple events throughout the year. And like, you got to figure, I made a lot of money in Masters. You'd think that would motivate me to be like, no, just stay with what you know. Because that's my wife said to do. And I was like, no, I'm actually genuinely having fun. And that's what my hobby has to be about. And so, yeah, I'm kind of, it made me switch ships a little bit. And I've lost to a player who was known, like he's played the game, but like that was my only loss throughout the like Swiss rounds. And I had so many offers to sell the cards, like immediately, like people were very hyped for it. They wanted my starter deck. People wanted my energy markers. And like I had to message my friend who buys that stuff just to be like, hey, do you want this before I sell to all these other people? Because there's a list of people who want it. And that's a really good sign. Like we had a line all the way around the entire stadium just to buy starter decks. They couldn't play in the event. Like it was already sold out. These guys stood in like a 2-hour line just to buy a starter deck for a game that doesn't come out
3 weeks early. It's out in like 3 weeks, guys. Like it's like February 18th or whatever is the actual release date. This was just to hold on to some starter decks for 3 weeks around the building.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But they wanted to be the first people to have it in their hand. And what you talked about at the start of the thing, we have, we always expect this to happen. Like I saw all my posts. If you guys follow me on Instagram, it was like, it's coming, guys. This is the start of the boom. We can see it. And I started seeing it on January 4th. Like that's where you can see an uptick on my quick close. Like it just starts going up. And then now we're at like a vertical line this week because people want Dragon Ball product. I have Heroes cards selling that I've had for years because I got into Heroes at one point and I still have them. And people are messaging me like, hey, do you have any of these Heroes cards? There's no new Heroes item coming out. There's no reason for people to be asking me about Dragon Ball Heroes. But it's just there's that much excitement about Dragon Ball that Masters is selling, Fusion World is selling. That announcement, I think it was 2 months ago. You guys tell me when the guy announced that he's going to do 10 years and make his own Avengers, basically universe for Dragon Ball. Ever since that announcement, and where he's talked about the new direction of Dragon Ball, we're going to have multiple movies, we're going to have multiple animes, multiple games. He wants to build a whole universe up over a 10-year period, and they're building a full plan for it. That has jump-started it, and like I said, it's been the craziest week. I actually couldn't respond to messages because it's just that many sales today where I had to help my wife with packaging.
Truth be told, I think that's the news that the category needed, right? I think that collectors in general, which, obviously have a big... Actually, no, I'll hold on that statement. I think that, we definitely needed that message to come out so that people who are into collecting can kind of stay inspired to keep going, especially if you're going to get 10 more years of the dynamic of the product to come, for collectors to be the movies. That means new designs, new artwork, new everything, and I'm glad that happened. The real question though is, again, is Fusion World going to be what everyone is hyping it up to be, right? So, it's like Dane said before, he's not too crazy about it. Masters is his thing, but what happens here? Because, if you ask me, I don't think that Fusion Worlds, not to say it's not going to do well, I just don't think that people realize what that does to revitalize Masters.
Gun, are you asking solely from a playability, like a gameplay, or are you asking like in general, collecting wise as well?
No,
full market, yeah.
I mean, I can tell you my thoughts on it.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah, I think Fusion World is already going to take over Masters. I think the problem with Masters is that it became mappable for a collector. I could buy a case. I know that if I pull the 2 SCRs, the only cards that are worth any money from the case, you can sell the additional boxes for $30, $40, which we've seen. And now what that's done to the sealed market is it's destroyed the sealed market. Sealed market is tanked down because of that. Now, if they're smart, which I think they're probably going to do based upon what we've seen rarity-wise from Fusion World, is that they're going to map the boxes unmappable, like with One Piece. You could have a hot case, you can have a decent case, you can have multiple boxes that have multiple hits. You don't really know where the box is going to be at to have the hits. You may have a God pack like they did with One Piece, where you had all the leaders, the alt leaders in one pack. They needed to do something fun for the collectors to rip and enjoy. The art looks better to me. They've done new designs. I've been asking for Gohan with a red line behind his head for years, and we finally get it in set 1 on Fusion World. So it's not that they can't do it, it's just that they haven't done it in Masters, and they're finally starting to put forth that effort now. That's how I see it as a collector, someone that spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on Dragon Ball product over the course of years. It's very nice to see. It's, as a collector, I'm looking forward to it.
Do you think that Masters is going to continue to elevate? Like, I think, at least from, again, not a gameplay. I'm not a player, so I don't know. Kudos to you guys. You guys are solid. I wish I knew how. I ain't got the capacity in my brain for it. But, like, from a collector standpoint, the last few sets, it's like the cards have gotten, to me, even down to the SPRs, like the cards have gotten better. Like the artwork's looking better, the colors are looking better, the foiling's looking better. Like, do you think Masters is going to continue to elevate that?
So it looks better. I agree, it looks better, but it's not selling for anything.
No, I agree with that.
Like, yeah. You look at the Goku SCR that we just had is a beautiful card. That's what, an $80 card, $100 card right now.
120, 120, 100, 100,
Yeah.
120.
And I don't think that changes with. I think if anything, we see what you're talking about for One Piece, right? Because we're not getting manga rares to start with. You know, we might get a different rarity, but like that to me is the point when we. I imagine that'll be the point of no return for a lot of Masters people. If we can get Super Saiyan Goku, the first ever manga, card, as when they finally make that bridge, the things that he's talking about are really important because the changes we've had in Dragon Ball, it's not like a coincidence, right? They got rid of the guy who was really, pigeonholing the brand, and that guy quit. Like that's my favorite part about the licensor for Dragon Ball is that they couldn't even get rid of the guy. They had to have that guy quit himself and try to make his own brand, and then they were like, "Oh, cool, he's gone. Let's just do whatever we want." And you see that right out of the gate. What is it like? What's the name of the Goku that we get a cereal for? It's really cool. It has all seven
the
Dragon Ball.
777 Goku.
Yeah, look at that. The very first, like you've announced this amazing product that's coming out. Can't argue with it. I don't want to call it an amazing product, but it is.
Mhm.
And we're gonna get a cereal right off the bat, so you're gonna like just bump it up. And I think if they add that other element, you do start to see that decline of like some of it. But the card stock for the regular cards, I think Brandon can talk about it here. Is he's got the Brawly starter. The regular cards kind of suck in comparison. Like they're, because they're One Piece. They're mapping One Piece. So if you get a Goku uncommon foil in comparison for that and a Masters card looks way cooler. And so it'll be interesting to see how that dynamic plays out because it's been great for One Piece to do that, right? Like the alternate arts go for more money. They're cooler. But one of the other parts, just to talk about the gameplay, is it'll also help graders. And I think that's always an important thing is there's a thing called SERs. Well, the SERs are limit 1 in Dragon Ball. That's the biggest reason why you don't see that price point that you should, is that if I could run multiple SERs, man, we'd all be playing blue. And we'd be playing like 5 different or 10 different SERs in our deck, and the price would go up. But you only get one SER in your deck for the color. Well, for like green, for example, they get that beautiful Son Gohan card. You can play 4 copies. So you not only need to get yourself 4 alt arts if you want to be max rarity to play in your deck, now you got to grade some as well. The stock goes down. So it's a very, very good marketing mechanic just by having a gameplay mechanic that fuels a different market. So it's very good.
And the collector's boxes that... Oh, go ahead, Brand.
I was going to say, just from like a collector standpoint, seeing the serial introduction on a classic Goku, right? With Super, we weren't getting much classic artwork that looked good. The emphasis was more on Super characters. So to see that serial in a classic Goku, I thought was brilliant. Seeing the energy markers at Nationals, unbelievable cards. Card looks beautiful. The detail, the attention to detail, the etching, the gold, it looks like a trophy card. Like that looks to me better than first through third place paper card. Like you could have done that. You're doing it. Why weren't we seeing it in Masters? And as someone who's collected as much as I have, it's frustrating because you say to yourself, well, I've spent so much time and energy and money into this, and I love it. I love Dragon Ball. But where was this at now? And now we're doing it in Fusion World. And to me, on the outside looking in, I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, they're doing the online client. They're making this product in Japanese. They're starting to blend it on a more of a worldwide scale. It makes more sense that this is the transition that we're going into, and more of the thought and care is going to go into this product as a collector.
What about the collector's box releases? Like, they have the new collector's box coming out. Number one, I don't know if any of those cards are playable or not. You guys could answer that question, but I mean, to me, those are what we should be seeing in the boxes, like that. It's.
Are you talking for Masters or for Fusion World?
I think he means for Masters because for Power Absorbed, they were getting it for the next set as well.
So I expect that to bomb in a crazy level because, one of the things we always talk about is the pool. It's not as deep as it feels. Like if you're in the pool of One Piece right now, it feels like you're in the Atlantic. Like that thing goes deep. Like it just feels like everyone's got money. Dragon Ball, there's a certain amount of fans. Well, I already just said it. You know, I'm already working with a store trying to get a case or some boxes. I want some of this product. I want to see what it's like. I want to rip some. I'm excited for it. If they've turned me, they can turn a lot of other people. And when they do that, a lot of us are going to spend some money on Fusion World when it comes out, right? Well, that's in February. That's also Valentine's Day for those of us who have someone. Those are two expensive things. Then the following month, 30 days later, you're going to release a brand new set with a collector's edition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how's
but
that going? That's too much product too fast.
Yeah, but
I
also
also
think
think
about it. You got Fusion World coming out, right? And then you have the tournament prizes that are coming out that everyone's going to be buying as well. And then you have the Masters coming out, and I think Masters is going to bomb because of that.
It's always worrisome too. So for those that are not aware of like how the collector's volume works and everything, I mean, in that 12 card pack, you get 8 foils from the set, and then 3 super rares and an SPR. But those are just like higher pull rates of the exact same things you can pull in a regular case, right? There's only effectively 4 exclusive cards plus the these little alt arts, which the alt arts aren't very uncommon because every pack comes with them and they're limited to whichever cards they've designated get that, right? It's like usually 3 or 4 per color. So it's very easy to get those. And then there's the ghost rare and then the 3 alt art secret rares, which I think from the last one, I have no idea what a ghost rare Goku is at. You guys could probably know that. But the alt art 21 is the most expensive alt art at $450. And it's like, that's like you had to spend $1,600 minimum to be able to open a case and then also maybe pull it. So it's a little hard that the collector's volumes or collector boxes feel like they're such bad product in that sense because they flood the market with everything else. But we do have I have a correction for some other stuff earlier, as well as what's a sneak peek for those of you that are like unaware of how Dragon Ball is going to be moving forward with foils. So rumor on the street, and also confirmed by certain posts, is that Masters is going to go the way of One Piece, where only rares are foils again. And commons, uncommons are not going to be foil. But if that is the case, that's where collector's volume boxes are going to be worth money. Is because then I can get the foil commons and uncommons for my deck. As a player, nothing makes me angrier that in Fusion World, I'm going to have a 50 card deck with 8 cards in it that look good. Those 8 cards are going to be gorgeous. That's awesome. But there's going to be 42 cards that look like One Piece cards, except worse. Like I truly do not like the art style.
Yeah, so my thing is that, you know, Fusion Worlds is coming out, right? And like this whole, you know, there's so much speculation that's happening, and you know, everyone expects Masters to do bad because this, that, and the other. But like in on the back burner of my head, I'm like, you know, so we're doing this whole Fusion Worlds things. It's 2024. You know, Dragon Ball has a new mindset in place. They're redesigning the way these boxes are going to look for the new set. Collectors is going to come out. There's going to be a lot of changes. I don't think that they're just going to, you know, they're just going to put Masters out in, you know, in the woods and say, hey, you're on your own, dude. You make it or you don't. You know, I think that what we're going to get in this next set, I think personally will be better than what Fusion World is putting out. Now, I don't take away from Fusion Worlds those energy marker cards. I'm not a fan of Fusion Worlds. I haven't seen anything yet where I'm like, oh my god, you know, I'm not gonna lie to anybody and say that I'm impressed. I'm not. The energy marker cards, I think, do look good. I think they look great. I think that Masters missed that opportunity 100 times over. So they did a great job there. Do I think that there's anything else that would be worth chasing there? Absolutely not. But I do believe that with new changes for Fusion Worlds and everything else that's going to be involved, I believe that Masters will be bringing something to the table where everyone's like, yeah, okay, here's dinner, let's eat, you know, because there's no way that they would just kill off a game or a part of the game that did so well, you know, not over 1 year, 2 years, but like what, it's been 7 years, 8 years,
7 years. Yep.
I think the part of what you're talking about is very, you're 100% right? Because they would have dropped it in August. Like August, they had that opportunity to be like, hey, we're no longer going to support this game. We're only going to support this new game we're coming out with. Sorry if you bought into it. You're right on that part. And I think the other part you're right about is we have a huge advantage if you're a fan of Dragon Ball. Bandai had their first failure. You guys remember your first failure? Like your first big failure in life? Because I do. You remember
like 30 years of my life.
Usually one of us had like our biggest career failures. Like mine was the Army. Like that was my first ever real career failure. Like I got hurt. And although it wasn't my fault, it felt like it. Well, in the case of Bandai, they lost $2 million on Battle Spirits. They know what it is to make a product and have it cost them money and be such a problem that they don't even know how much they are going to continue to lose, right? So now that they have that, they have a, kind of an attitude of like, well, how do we keep both these things going? And you have people working on it, which is nice. I still think eventually you might see Masters get phased out. But I also wonder if you're going to see fatigue faster in Fusion World, because one of the things we talked about before is Pokemon. Pokemon is basically the benchmark for what is going to be Fusion World. The reason why is whenever you make an app-based performance, it's very difficult to add new mechanics to a game. It's almost impossible. Now, Magic the Gathering is the exception, but they're the only card game that's been able to add new mechanics. That means every set, there's only one way to increase the power of the set. That is to increase the numbers for the most part. Yeah. And they can be subtle. Like I talked about in my video today, you start out with the first cards. Every 2-drop in the game right now is a 20K. Next set, do not be surprised if every card is a 20K with 50 power. Just big enough so that way if an older set card were to attack it, it can defend without having to combo a card. And you'll see that continuously happen whenever you have what I call constant power creep. You have player fatigue because it's nothing new. Like with Masters, I would argue we've had a completely different Nationals this year than last year. How we played, what cards we wanted, everything felt different. It was a blast, but it was nothing like last year. A person who didn't play last year could have jumped in, trained this whole new format, and he could have done well. It still would have been hard, but it was fresh. With Fusion World, it's not a joke. You guys can all pick it up tomorrow, study the game, and then you can forget about it for 6 months. And then when it's national season, you'll just buy the newest version and you'll do well at that event because you have a basis for it. And there will be some sort of like fatigue for that. And that's where I think you see the uptick in Masters. So that means we have to wait 8 months before we see a good uptick in Masters because of that Fusion fatigue. And that's my plan of it.
So looking at it from my point of view, you talk about Bandai killing the game. I don't think Bandai kills the game. I think the collectors kill the game. What I mean by that is if their collectors are not buying the product, then what shop or store is going to carry the product? Mm-hmm. If they're not going to carry the product, then what's going to happen eventually is that Bandai is going to say, okay, well, we were selling 100,000 units. Now we're down to 60,000 units. Now we're down to 20,000 units. That's what kills the game. Bandai won't even see the numbers or even care until it actually hits their pocketbook and not seeing that stuff selling. We're already starting to see it now. I've talked to a bunch of friends of mine whose LTS is no longer carrying Masters product because they can't sell it. Because people go, well, listen, I can go on TCG Player and buy a brand new booster box for $38, for $42. Well, that's far less than what they can sell it for because their margins are at X and they can't sell it for Y or they're going to be losing money and upside down. Yeah. So you can't consider Bandai being the one to kill. It's going to be the collectors, and it's already starting to happen, especially when collectors have purchased cards at peak, and now they're looking at themselves and saying, well, shit, how about an AP PSA 10 for $10,000? And now I just personally sold that card for $700. So when you start looking at the math is not mathing to make sense to continue going on. And you can surely say, I'm going to prospect and I'm going to buy when the low is low. And I understand that. I've done that plenty of times and different things. I just don't know how that's applicable when you have a new game coming out in Fusion World.
Well, I mean, don't you think it's interesting, though, that, like, the margin for card games to be profitable is very small? Like, that's I think, my biggest hope for Masters is that it costs Bandai, literally $11 to produce a box. All the payments along the way, everything like that, it costs them $11. I mean, that's, I'm just making up numbers here, but if it costs them $11, $20, $35, the stores get to buy those for $55, $60 a piece. and then they get to sell them to players, even if they're at like the low margin 70. Because I'll admit, like your friends, I'm guilty of it. This next set is the first one that my ex-roommate and I are not buying a case on, because we just saw the last 3 sets where pop on a TCG player a week later and buy an entire case for $600, 2/3 of MSRP. But like that's the thing, right? Is that there's no incentive, I feel, for Bandai specifically to not do it, because Masters is going to continue to sell enough to keep the competitive scene alive. And as long as they keep printing cards that look like the SPRs that we get in every single set, there will be someone who goes, yeah, I got time. I can buy the thing. Even if not from a straight monetary value, $90 for the dopamine that you get when you open those 2 SPRs is worth it, in my opinion.
So what you bring up is a great point to keep in mind for distributor meetings, right? Because that's always the big part of what I like about, my brand is we have people who are at distributor meetings, you listen to what they hear when they're with Bandai, right? The amount of sales that Bandai makes their profit from for games is not from LCSs. Or like stores and brick and mortar, ever since the boom, have not been the foundation of card games. The foundation of card games are Target and Walmart. They make up 70% of their sales now. And what's really cool about that is those guys are still getting, they won't have the same amount, right? Like you see 10 fat packs. I don't know what they're called now, but they used to be called fat packs. What are they
Blisters.
My Target no longer carries Dragon Ball, by the way. 2 of them next to me.
Mine still does.
Yeah, mine still does.
Taking shit around us.
Yeah,
you can't
will
find
still
them
get a
around
few. They'll have less, but they'll still get them. So they still make their $20 a hit on them. They never lower the price. Like they sell really well, and that's the part that's made Dragon Ball get to keep Masters. And that's what I like about it is Bandai keeps getting a paycheck. And Brandon's right. If it ever gets to the point where that paycheck doesn't come in, I imagine that's when we get the chopping block happens. But the good news is when we got to 4th quarter for Bandai, they still love Masters. Like that's why you see the effort they're still putting into the next set, and why they're talking about the that roadmap they put out. That wasn't like a roadmap they put out because they were like, oh, we want to make people happy. They knew they wanted to keep the product up, and that's great because Target, Walmart, that's your money now. And I really wonder, when it comes to cases, like you talked about before, Brandon, the mapping is such a huge problem. It's so much more fun to go to Target, buy a brand new, just buy one, see if you get the God Rare. But if you buy one online, your odds of getting a God Rare are what? None?
None.
Well, that kind of goes back to what Dane said earlier. You said the dopamine for hitting the SPRs and how beautiful they are, right? Well, you're going to have more quantity of beautiful cards in Fusion World if it's running the same way that One Piece is.
Do you think
That's a fact.
Is there even a
you
single
think
card in Fusion World that looks as good as like our average SPR? That's kind of like where I would say that the line is drawn, is that they get the secret rares that look pretty good, but like it really just seems to be, to me, that the gold top 16 cards, the serialized, and the new energy markers are the only thing that even comes close to something in Masters.
I would highly disagree with you, and I think 90% of collector base would as well.
Personal taste, I guess.
This is really cool though that like the 2 people that are opposite, by the way, just ended up being the this is so much better because it's like for me, if I was being at home, I would just love this moment because it's like mom's in the middle here and she's like just sitting like listening and like just chilling in there with a vape pen. I can't tell if it's just his thumb or not. And then, like,
it's a harsh reality, man. And listen, I guarantee you, no one here has spent more money on Dragon Ball Master than I have. And I can tell you right now that it's very frustrating that as you spend the money on these products, that all you hear all day long is, oh man, that looks like shit because there's print lines. And oh man, that is offset.
That's true.
And oh man, this is this. I have heard nothing but complain for 6 months that our community has gotten so toxic with and talking so much shit about every product. Every product, listen, I think the past 6 sets have been some of the best sets artwork-wise that we've gotten ever, including the first 9 sets, okay? I think they're beautiful. I think they're detailed. I think they have multiple layers of foiling and etching and everything else. However, their toxicity has just crushed it from the community, saying, "Oh, the print lines, and oh, this is terrible. Oh, now you're grading print lines as black labels. Oh, what a joke! I don't value that as a black label." It's like, fuck, you can't win if you do. You can't win if you don't.
Yeah.
And
What
the
am I
funny
supposed to
part,
Fusion,
the-
bro, do you think Fusion World's art is taking a little bit from Heroes? You know,
As
going
it
out.
should. As it should.
Yeah,
I think
I
Heroes,
agree.
I think
I agree.
Heroes has superior art to Masters. I think Masters has superior foiling. And what have we done? It looks like we've mashed those two together. I think it's a perfect blend. And listen, I'm not here to pump it up. I've got 8 cases of myself to rip. I haven't bought cases of Dragon Ball Masters in like a year.
That's a lot. Can I being realistic before I forget? Can I have your uncommons and commons so I can play?
You're damn right you can.
All right, awesome.
So I gotta. So Legends, tell me. I haven't heard from you, man. What do you think? What do you think of Fusion Worlds? Do you think that this is like the new wave or what? Like, talk to me.
I think from a marketing perspective, I think it's brilliant. I think what Bandai's doing is they're just creating publicity, right? For an IP that they know is already strong, and I think it just benefits both IPs. I think as a competitor, I don't think Fusion Worlds is exciting. But I also think Fusion Worlds is a great gateway into Masters as a competitor, right? Like as a Masters competitor. I was given the opportunity to play a couple exhibition matches with like Fusion World's first tournament winner or something like that. It was really fun, and I got to sit down and play the game, and it is a watered down version of Masters, which is very good for both games. For people that want to get into a Dragon Ball centric like IP card game, Fusion World is amazing. It's easy to learn. It like lets you dip your toe in the pool, and then when you're prepared for something that's a lot more intense, then you shift into Masters. I think that's what Bandai's intent is, and in addition to the fact that it allows them to market both games simultaneously, because you'll have people that find Fusion World cards really pretty, and then they'll be like, "Oh my god, but what's this? These Master cards also exist, and they're also really sick." And then that just plays off each other, and I think Bandai is just creating a pool of money for themselves as a result.
Let me ask you. Oh, let me ask him a question. For you, because you obviously, all three of you guys are playing the card game because you enjoy it, but you also make money off of it, right? You mentioned it earlier, Robbie. You play the game. As soon as you guys win prizes, you go straight to list them on Facebook or wherever to get your prize money back. And I get that. And obviously, that's why I'm here, right? I exist to buy those cards.
Thank you.
If you end up, if you end up seeing, no, thank you. If you end up seeing the cards sell more prize-wise from Fusion World, would that deter you from continuing to play Masters as the prize money is more in Fusion World?
No, I can answer this one easily. So before college, I was actually a professional poker player, and my income was significantly higher than what it is playing Dragon Ball Super card game. And then even like in the actual like TCG level, like other games sell for a lot more in terms of pricing. Like One Piece pricing is an insanely valuable pricing, right? But the art's hideous and the gameplay is like boring as heck to me. Not to like
Circle and trapezoid characters. Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah.
And so like I always tell people like I play the game. I specifically play this game because it's more fun than the rest of the games. I still do go play poker now and then. Play a couple like 10,000, 25,000 satellites just to like because I like that game too. But if I was just doing it for the money, or if like the money was tempting me, that would be my full-time hobby, not Dragon Ball.
Yeah, and I think
Do you think that's the standard for most players?
I don't.
Masters, yeah.
I think what we're seeing in today's economy for card games, especially in a lot of competitive card games, the players want a game they can invest in that they're not going to lose money in, right? So like you see this like pool of players jump from like One Piece, and then when Lorcana got announced, they were like, "Oh my God, Lorcana's a new wave! Like here's the new stock. They're gonna ride that wave, and they're like, these cards will save me money when I invest into it." Then they realize, oh, this game's not that fun, and like the money, like it doesn't balance that out enough. So let me find another game, and they just bounce around and around. So I think your true competitive players will be in the games that they enjoy, and you'll find a niche market of players that are trying to chase that money.
Okay.
I mean, if that was the case, right, Battle Spirits would have done a whole lot better than it did. They just had their finals with like barely over 100 players. I mean, like top 8 was $25,000 cash before the prize cards, cash money, and then down to like top 32 people were still getting $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, and that's a top third of the room.
Yeah,
a top like that's so like insane. But like to me, I could not have imagined playing in a Battle Spirits thing when next door I know that my friends are playing the prettiest game on the market with the tightest mechanics, and it's Dragon Ball, dude. It's so thematic. It's crazy. Like, I don't know how. I think it's a little.
Battle Spirits final was it? They hosted it in like a fucking VFW bar. It's 100 people.
Yeah,
great.
Low lighting. Everyone's playing.
Shooters there, yeah, right over there.
You don't see most players try to play for profit. The goal, like I said, before Brandon, for what 19 years of my life, I played for break-even point. If I could not have debt and have a hobby, I was winning at life. It never even occurred to me that I could make a business and grade cards. I thought he was crazy. I have a text from him that I keep as a thing from him where he's like, you know, man, if you want to look into grading and stuff, you know, people would pay more money, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, you should really look into learning the art of grading. And I responded to him being like, no crazy person is going to pay like $1,000 for a card they can just get for $20. Because I didn't understand any of it, right? Most of players are there. If you can hang out with your friends for an entire weekend and not cost you money, like once every 3 months, and get away from the chaos of the life, that's all we want. And this game it's a blast. And I think that's kind of what I'm looking forward to, is what I hope happens. And I'm literally pushing every contact I know to try to make this happen. If we get Dragon Ball weekends, how good this will be for both brands, where you have a Saturday Fusion World event, Sunday Fusion Masters Regional. So you have 2 different events, 2 different brands supporting each other. I travel to Texas, we all hang out, we have 2 tournaments to play in, 2 chances to just have a good time, and then we go home exhausted and do it again like a month or 2 later. This would be a dream. Like, this would be fantastic. And I really think that kind of like what we're all hoping for. And I think that's the scary part now. Like, I think one of our teammates, DaCosta, talked about it. Right now we're in what I call, for the player base, it's the opposite. So collectors, as I've talked about at the very start of this video, I'm about to sell out of product. I have enough product based on the numbers we did while I was ADHD in this chat. I can last till March 1st. As of March 1st, I will be out of product based on the current buy amounts, and I can't buy any more product because the prices are too high now for Masters. No one will let me buy more. So I might have the first problem ever of a first world issue. I won't have enough stuff to be able to sell anyone. I'll just have to close up shop for like a month or 2, because there's that much hype around it. But as a player, this is the dark period. There is nothing to do besides hang out with Dane on his stream until February 23rd when the game comes out, besides training physically and mentally, just getting ready for it, because there'll be no events, no big new announcements, no nothing until basically March 1st. And then on March 1st, they will do a soft announcement and we'll get like 1 or 2 events. Then April, it'll be twice as many, June. And then all of a sudden, by the time we're in September, we're talking every other week you can play Dragon Ball. So it's very different, because in one section, there's too much business. And then the others, I'm bored out of my damn mind.
Now, well, my Instagram is BroNameth. Any prizing from Fusion World, just make sure you shoot me a DM. I'll be available.
So actually, on the bright side, you can keep most of your Masters contacts because the game is so similar.
So
we'll it's not fun. You said it's not fun.
Oh, hold on, it's less fun.
Yeah. Okay.
It is. So like, I purchased a case and it's got a digital client. So like, as a streamer, I would be doing myself. Like, I'm not taking shotguns and just taking it to my knee because they put out a digital client and the game is not quite as fun as the one that I play in person. But like, we're gonna do both, right? Like that is part of it. We're getting a case, and it's gonna build my fundamentals too for Masters. The combo step is gonna continue to learn and get better. I just prefer Masters a little bit.
But you're buying a Fusion World case over the next set of Masters.
Correct, because of value, because I imagine that I make significantly less than every other person in this call.
Not anymore. You've met Brandon.
I'm pretty poor.
I just make poor financial decisions. That's all.
So hold on, I got a 2-piecer here just because I've been like keeping tabs on what I want to ask. Legend. Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, he's definitely a 2-piece. Look, that's his twin.
Here we go. You disrespectful piece of shit.
I'll put it in.
Legends, I gotta ask you, when you played that exhibition match of Fusion World, did you win?
No, I lost by the smallest of margins.
Get this.
That was my
out of
first.
Here. He's at the chat.
I literally had read the rules of the game 5 minutes before I sat down for the exhibition match. I didn't even know I was going to be doing it. They approached me. The staff managers approached me. They're like, "Hey, as like part of like winning worlds, like we want you to play an exhibition match in our new game that everybody's talking about." I was like, "That's cool. I've never read a single card in your game. I don't know how it's going to be an awful. It's going to be like beating a baby seal or something." And she was like, "Oh, okay. Well, here's a rule book. How fast do you think you can learn it?" I was like, "We'll find out, won't we?" And
And you still almost won.
So,
it was so close.
And
So
the player that won the exhibition is like a known Masters player too. David Fujimara is a great player.
Yeah,
So-
shit, that's all I'm hearing. No, I'm just kidding.
so, but wait. So after your exhibition match, did you like?
Yeah.
Were you like, "Hey, this is kind of fun. I would definitely keep doing this," or was it? Or you were just like, it's okay.
One and done.
I prefer Masters.
Yeah, so after my exhibition match, they asked that exact interview question, the Bandai representatives, and I gave them an honest opinion of the things I thought were definitely a problem with the game. The game is very linear. You can like, so have a habit of being able to see how a game can end, maybe a couple turns early, and you can see that from almost turn 2 in Fusion World of just the 3 games I played. You can see the pattern already show itself by turn 2, which isn't
Damn.
very exciting to me. I do like the fact though that there is a digital client, which I think will allow community and people to grow at an exponential rate, right? Like that part's cool. The fact that you can play Fusion World anywhere on the toilet, it'll probably become my new toilet game. But the fact that you can play it, yeah, but the fact that you can play it anywhere that you have an internet connection is really awesome.
But the
As
question,
far
the
as-
question really,
yeah.
It is computer only at this time.
Yeah, but once
So,
it's
but-
gonna get there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like the thing is that you're saying like, yeah, with the IP client it'll grow and everyone will get
Yeah.
good, but like if you're saying it's so linear, what does it matter, right? Because if after turn
Yeah.
2 you can kind of see how that goes, that's like I don't even know like a good analogy for that, but that sounds like it sucks if you ask me.
Well,
That's.
I don't think
this
everybody
is a starter
sees.
deck.
Yeah,
is
I
a
don't think.
starter
Yeah, the game's in its infancy. Every card game's like that, right? Like One Piece is like that too. When it first came out, I didn't play Dragon Ball until Set 7, so I don't know what early Dragon Ball was.
Same. I would have quit before Set 6 as well. I'm in the exact same boat. Same start time.
But,
Set
like-
1 Masters is terrible.
But just
That
like
is an
yeah,
atrocious game.
So
but
this is
yeah,
also-
that's just how it
Yeah.
is.
This is what you
Alright.
also talk about for what you're seeing in One Piece. I keep talking about how, in my opinion, you're going to see that eventual, player fatigue, and we saw it by the people that came, over from Bandai's one section. They were like, "Hey, I'm going to play in this Fusion World event," because that game is very linear. One Piece is very terrible. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you play One
Johnny's
Piece,
favorite.
you can't advance. So you master One Piece, congrats. You're at the ceiling. This is the best it's ever going to get. What Legends just talked about is huge. You can master Fusion World, and then that will give you the taste of excitement. And then you can be like, maybe I do want to try this harder version of the game that has a deeper level. And now we get new people. And I think you have to start with that baby step. When I try to teach players, I take out all the negates, I take out all the counters, all the unisons, all the stuff that got added later in the game, because I can't explain 13 steps in one combat attack. You're gonna fall asleep before we start. And so he's 100% right. Like it's going to help you get to masters if they want to make it that way. And there's something to be said about a game that is always the same. Like we played starter deck battles. So in a starter deck battle, there was only 50 cards we could play. There's going to be a whole new set. It's not going to be as linear because there'll be more variants. And you get like set 2, set 3. But for a while, yeah, you're gonna sit down with a 100-person event, and 86 players are gonna be playing the best deck, which is Green Gohan.
When vanillas are no longer viable, then you can grade how good a game is. But right now, slamming 4 energy for a vanilla is pretty good.
At the 30K, yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to ask something. I think that it's pretty. I'm sure a lot of people who collect and watch what I don't want to say people watch what people do, but obviously know you guys saw that people were moving a lot of like high end stuff in the Dragon Ball market. I'm sure a lot of us already know that Bro Namath is 100% invested into Fusion Worlds, being that he decided to move a lot of that super stuff because I think that that's how much faith he has in Fusion Worlds becoming the next big thing. I mean, am I wrong to assume that?
No, I mean, I think the sale that I had, which was most of all my trophy cards, golds and silvers, I had it curated over the past year and a half. That sale just kind of came into my lap. As far as wanting to love the game of Masters, I mean, we've all seen it in the past 8 months, 9 months of seeing kind of decline in what values and prices were. So of course, when you have, $400,000 worth of Dragon Ball Masters cards, you say to yourself, okay, well, where is this going to go down to? And ultimately, I didn't really care necessarily too much, just because I was passionate about collecting them. So when the sale came, it just was natural to say, okay, well, obviously he wants it more than I want to keep it, right? Like I obviously would rather spend the money elsewhere. And, I had made a post saying that I was done buying Masters, and I lied because I ended up buying Masters like the day after. So, but I just think that the pricing points on some of the things out the gate from players are pretty high, and no shots at you guys. So for me, it was like I just couldn't justify some of the price points that they were being asked when comparing to what other cards were selling for in comparable rarity and also year in which they had came out. So for me, I just kind of held off to the sideline. I was like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to go all in on Masters then if we're going to have price points that just don't necessarily make sense to me. And ultimately what ended up happening was I got the Gogeta SCR top 8 that I wanted to get from Worlds. I got a couple leaders. I got another Goku UI Gold champion, and I paid, under. Well, the price point was good. I paid 8.8K for all of that, which I think is more than fair on market on some of the cards. So if something's going to come around that makes sense to me market value wise, I'll go ahead and purchase it. But some of the asks are just far too high for me. So it's not that necessarily I want to shun and hate Masters. I just think some of the price points don't reflect where the overall market of the game is.
Okay. So
I think it's a very fair point.
Yeah. So you guys as players, I mean, do you guys believe that there's an influx of people looking to like spike that market specifically for like trophy cards? Because I think that reflects a lot of like what the One Piece market is doing, right? With these like trophy cards, like people are asking. I saw 250K for a champion card. I fucking wanted to puke when I saw that. Yeah. And I think that these are just unrealistic numbers, and there's a hype behind it. And the hype, people want to ride that train because they're like, you know what? Let's cash out. Let's do this now before it becomes too late. But I mean, I read that sale did not go through because I'm sure somebody's common sense was like, what are you, fucking stupid? And that's just what I think. But do you guys think that there is that spike that exists in the market and that ultimately affects the long-term hold of these cards?
I think it becomes a different thing. So like I think the cereals is probably the best example because those are beautiful, right? We all can agree that the Goku cereal is like one of the best things they've done. Yeah. It looks nice. There was a gold version. There was a silver version. At a certain price point.
The Goku, the cereal,
Kaioken Blue.
Right?
Yeah, Kaioken, thank you. Dane's like, Kaioken, and I will play it against you and beat you with beards.
I got like 8 of it this year, man. I've got to get rid of them.
And that's just it, right? So at a certain price point, I was selling mine, right? Because to me, they should be at least $1,000. Then they dip below $1,000. And so I started just to keep mine. Because to me, now we're at a price point where it doesn't make sense. Just like for him, for Brandon, some cards don't make sense to buy. For me, for how pretty they are, it doesn't make sense for me to sell them. And I think that's where it has to be. It has to be this conversation that's going up and down to figure out like what is a true price point. Like I started up, there's a commission sale of my world leaders. Shout out to everyone on eBay, where you can see these are only supposedly 8 copies of the world leaders this year. As far as I know, no judges got any. There's none extra. We'll find out if there's ever any later. But for right now, there's 8 copies. I put them up for $1 a piece. That to me is a good way to gauge where they end for right now, where their value is. Well, just because one goes for, let's say, $200, because I started at such a low price, it doesn't mean the next one's going to sell that cheap. Like, this is an opportunity for those people. But like, it's very difficult because other people who want their stuff is private, they commissioned and they sold their entire set of sealed leaders for a lot more money. But they were offered it. So like, that's where it's part of it. It has to be an offer based, and then both sides has to do the research and say, you know what, I think this is where you should be. And some stuff is just hard. Like, I still have my Gohan medal. I got offered $6,000 for it the other day, and I was like, no, because to me, it's worth more than $6,000. There's only 7 gold Gohans that exist in the world. For $7,000, I'd like to keep it, and I think it should go for more. But I'm the one who owns it. I can decide whether I sell it, just like the person who's going to buy it can do it. And it can't just be like with One Piece being like, oh yeah, you know, everything's super expensive, it's crazy, you know, it feels like it's going up and up and up. When that crashes, it's going to feel really bad for them because, you know, like a Kaido, like who wants a Kaido for $200,000? Luffy, sure, but Kaido?
Even then, like that Luffy, what is that, cereal card? How much is that selling for? What are people paying for that?
18,000. Yeah, 18,000.
And there's still what, another fucking 800 to go. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. Like, people are just paying like this FOMO price. And listen, and like I guess if you like, you know, I mean, I don't know everyone else, but I personally, I paid FOMO prices before, right? Like that's a thing. It happens. And it's okay to, you know, hey, listen, I fucked up. I made a decision. Okay, whatever. You live on with it. But like, to watch people repeatedly make the same mistake over and over, to pay that kind of money for a cereal card. Goku has a cereal card. Well, I'm going to sell my fucking Black Label Kaioken for $44,000. But like, that's not realistic. So people are paying $18,000 for a cereal Luffy. That doesn't make sense to me. $200,000 for the fucking that big ass dude on One Piece. I don't even know his name. That doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, all right, Kaido. There you go.
It's just like Wes's post not too long ago where he put that Black Label serialized Luffy for like 70,000 minimum.
You know,
yeah. Well, like, I mean, it's hard. So when the first sale happens, which it did, it was close to $90,000, and then the second sale happened, it was $87,000. It was the same buyer. All of a sudden, the One Piece market went nuts after that, right? And now there's like 5 or 6 Luffy cereals, and we're just going to say they're all near $100,000. It just doesn't make any sense. But the same token, we look back at, I think, was it 2021 with Dragon Ball, maybe around 2021, where a gold Vegito BGS 10 sold for $50,000. And then I bought that same exact card from that person a year and a half ago for $18,000. So that's person gross. Who put in 50. Exactly. Well, that's what happens as a collector, right? Like, you sit there and you say, okay, well, what? Obviously the bottoms continue to go down. I'm just going to sell this asset now to get out when I can. And I know it's hard to sit here and say, oh, well, you know what, I want to keep that card forever. Well, that's not the case for everybody, right? Everyone may say, hey, look, I have unexpected medical bills, or I want to buy a car, or I want to go on a trip, whatever it may be. I know everyone's guilty here where they'll pull an asset and be like, you know what, I'm just going to sell this and I'm going to fund this little venture with that card or that comic book, whatever you sell. And you see that disparity in what he paid and what he lost. And we continue to kind of see a downward trend on some of these cards. It scares people to get involved at that price point.
Well, I mean, you really have to be committed.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that, we got to look 20 years in the future. These Pokemon cards, if they had known that Pokemon cards were going to have this kind of value, right? Absolutely an illustrator would have sold for that kind of money, right? Back in the day. These base set Charizards and Blastoises would have sold for that kind of money, but nobody knew. But now we're a little smarter, right? We know Dragon Ball is making it another 2 decades. Sorry to all the shockers out there, but it's going to make that distance. And that's where, when that gold Vegito that you have, that there are, that was the 2019
correct
leader, right? So that means there are only 5 copies. Cool. So there are 5 of that, of the fusion of the 2 most important characters for the second biggest manga of all time, the grandfather of shonen anime. And there's 5 of them.
Yeah, but you're comparing to Pokemon when Dragon Ball is on TCG number 6.
Yeah, and I think the important thing to point out is Dane's comment. There's something to it for like history, right? Because I'm the oldest man in the room. Shadowless Charizards. We used to be able to go to Gibraltar when I was a senior in high school. That was 4 years after Pokemon came out. Shadowless Charizards used to go for $300 at the trade show because those people there knew that Dragon Ball someday, I mean, not Dragon Ball, wrong dragon. They knew that Pokemon did have legs, right? They were willing to invest $300. And I remember being a high schooler being like, Mom, where's my binder? Like, and I sold them my Charizard. I only got 200 for mine because it wasn't as good a shape, but I was so excited about it. And the crazier part about it is, you think about it, they didn't make that much money unless they sold during the boom, because a Shadowless Charizard now isn't worth that much cash, right? Like, for what they were speccing on, it wasn't actually that wild, minus that 1 year where prices were crazy.
I think it's very hard to compare Pokemon to a game that's already had 4 previous TCGs fail and now is merging to Fusion World.
I think that's fair, but I mean, do you not believe that it's strong enough as an IP on its own? Because like,
oh, of course,
the Pokemon IP on its own legs, the highest end Pokemon collectors are probably not only collecting cards. Cards are just one aspect of it, and I imagine it's the same thing with Dragon Ball, right? I imagine you've got any number of millions of things. I know that there's like the giant UI Goku statue that a lot of people have. That's what was like $8,000 or something that Bandai made it for. Those are the kind of things that you would expect. Like, it doesn't matter 20 years from now, the game could be dead. I mean, it's better if it's alive, but if the game is dead, the card still has 5 of it in existence, and it looks like that, and it's metal.
Yeah,
the metal cards are the
and then that's backed up by the fact that if it was dead, that there's nothing else longer in production that exists in that. So like, even if at some point in down the road, 30 years on the road, it made a comeback, and it's like, yo, guys, fucking, there's like this old vintage. Really, it's like 2021, 22, and like you have these cards, and there's only 5 of them. That like really just brings out the rarity in something. And you know,
so we're looking at peak Score then, right? Because Score had a run up. Score had a run up. Score had a trophy card that sold on Heritage, 16 grand. So like, if we compare the parallels, and if we talk about the IP, I agree with you. That's why I collect now original cell animation from Dragon Ball. Have a bunch of pieces. So I agree with you.
What year was that Score trophy card?
2002, I believe. Dustin Morbido's, right? That was his card. That's how you are the champion one.
Is that what we're talking about, Brennan?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is that adjusted for inflation to today's price?
I mean, it's hard too, because it's you also have to think about the other cards, because like my top 16 sold for $1,500, and when I tried to buy it back for the few people who had it, they wanted $12,000, and I was like, all right, well, I can't buy it anymore, you know, because they were like, oh, I'm holding it for the future. I mean, the reality of it is, he's got a point, is that, you know, for some things, Dragon Ball hasn't done as well, especially for Score. The reason why Score's product has always done bad is there's always been backdoor copies. Backdoor copies always ruin it. We once saw, I think it was 4 copies in one room of the champion card that went for $18,000. That was supposed to be a 1 of 1. And there was a guy showing off a playset of them just being funny. Like being, I think his name was Ake, the guy who used to run it. So he just had 4 copies that they had printed that he just kind of had off to the side. So you knew there was more than just those 4 copies. And then, you know, they like to say, hey, no, we never gave out extra copies. But how much do you trust it when they have it, you know? So these are hard things to parallel, but that's what always killed Score's market. And also what also killed Score market is exactly what Brandon keeps talking about. And he's 100% right. We have to hope Fusion World fixes it. You would always map sets. So when you talk about Score, it never could go up in time because any sealed product is dead. It was 1 ultra rare per box. So it's not like Pokemon where you could keep back a first edition. And if there's not excitement, if there's not the potential of money, everyone gives up. Like, there has to be that balance. So you guys are all bringing up the...
You're also talking about a card that was in 2002. This is a completely different market, right? So it's 16K or whatever. It sold for 16K. I don't know when did it sell for 16K? I wasn't...
Last year, probably like a year ago, identically, like 12 months ago.
So it's just
he
like
got
anything
offered
else.
5K.
He got offered
He was
5K?
a kid. He got offered 5K as a kid, and he chose to keep it because they gave him $5,000 as part of his prize, and then that was enough for him to fix his card.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's
me and Legends though. We have a prior meeting, so we have to dip out. So I wanted to apologize for that, but I want to say thank you for having us on. And if you guys are up for it in the future, it'd be fun to do a Fusion World battle on your guys' stream, me versus Brandon. I challenge you. So you better learn the.
I'll coach you.
You told me earlier that I can ask you just to like forfeit the game, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask you politely to forfeit.
Yeah. You're going to make it worth its while.
Yeah, I knew it was coming. Are you going to make it worth its while? Love you guys. I hope I can just come on again just to hang out with you all. And we're going to go knock this out real quick. So I apologize.
Appreciate you coming on here. Hey, Legend, appreciate you, man. Thank you. Congratulations on being the champ, man. Enjoy it. Live it up. Hopefully next year you do just as good.
Congrats, man.
Thanks, guys. This was awesome. Guys.
Have a good night, guys.
Bye.
Later, man.
I'll stick around just a second longer, real quick, to ask: do any of you collect Naruto cards at all? Any of you into Naruto at all, or is this more of a Dragon Ball?
I have
only?
a few pops and stuff like that I get signed. I'm a big Jiraiya person.
Gotcha. Because like this is going to be something maybe that you guys are like unaware of then for that kind of market for that game. That game ended in 2013. Also lasted 7 years. Made it to 29 sets. Some of the cards that are like highly playable / in the peak of the game. When I was playing in high school, they were like $100 at best, right? Like the most expensive card in the game was like $100 Sage Mode. Like a raw damaged version of that card costs minimum $500 now. And that's a decade, right? And that was like basically the equivalent of an ultra rare. You were going to get 3 of those or 7 of those per box, 6 of those per box, whatever it was. So this is kind of the thing where I wonder about the longevity of an IP that is stronger than Naruto in Dragon Ball, where these cards are going to make it further, because I don't necessarily think that game had what it takes to be there. The art is good, especially towards the end of the game, but I mean, just in a decade, that card saw a 400% rise for like raw copies, right? That is not accounting for the population. There was a set in there that had a 20 of 20 alt art. 20 cards in the set were chosen to be 20 alt arts at random. So if you can purchase set 20, you're a big Jiraiya guy, Javier. Tales of the Gallant Sage, you might be aware of these, have this 20 cards are alt arts. And those things are raw, like I've seen damage copies sell for like $5,000. Like creases in the card, $5,000. So like these, you see these occasional ones, the PSA, the BGS 8.5s go for, they're like, hey, I want 9K for this minimum. And we're like, well, there's 20 of them. So I think Dragon Ball is in a better position than that, but it's also really hard to say because the card game market is just so different now. Everyone knows that cards have value. It wasn't quite like 2010 and before where you just kind of bought it because it was playable. There wasn't some investment thing. It's more of a luck thing that you like kept it around, right?
Yeah. See that, and that's the thing. Like you're saying, it's a whole different market now, and everyone knows that there's value in cards. And this is just kind of recapping on like a little bit of everything that we've talked about. People, and going back to actually to one of your beginning questions about the Alt Art Android 21 that we spoke about from the Power Absorb Collections box. The reason why it dropped so significantly, the reason why it dropped so significantly is because people spent so much money ripping the collector boxes, and they weren't ripping it at MSRP. They were ripping those boxes above. So when you hit a card that not even makes it break even for you, you make back some of your loss. You know what I mean? At some point, you're like, yo, I just got to get rid of it. It's got to go before I make nothing back on what I put out for it. So, and I think that influences a lot of the Dragon Ball as far as, the price of things and why they've dropped so significantly. And everyone's like, oh, it's dead. It's not that it's dead. Is that people are trying to get out because they couldn't hang on to their losses long enough. Right. So I think that has a huge play in how things are priced currently for the market, especially when it comes to Masters in general. And going back, I hope Fusion Worlds does well. But like I said, I truly believe that Masters is here to stay, and it's going to come back with more heat than anyone ever expected it to. So I hope that, Brother Math will punch the air when he sees that all these cards go for so much more money.
I think he's pretty confident that that Fusion World is the wave.
That's a Ferrari that I have in my garage based off of that sale has me feeling all right. I'll be all right. I'll be okay.
The flex.
That I have a personal current investment in the exact same vein of I'm gonna sit on my loss and hope that it kind of picks back up. Is that PSA 10 Apex behind me? Is I paid like 22. I technically paid like 18 plus $400 in card trades for it. But it's like what $1,400 now for a PSA 10 Apex, and I'm just hoping that it's one of the grails of the game. It's the big moment for Goku and Vegeta at the end of the Tournament of Power. I'm just gonna hope that 5-6 years from now that it picks back up and it comes back to like 3K or something, and then I will have made some amount of money on it. So that's my personal hope on it. You guys all have significantly larger collections than me. I can see just some of them in the back, and I mean, if he's got a Ferrari in the car, I am doing something very wrong.
I stole it at the right time. That's all.
Yeah. I think
All right, boys. I
think-
gotta head out. I got
All right,
work
Dom.
in the morning.
Have a good night.
Bye,
buddy.
All right, boys.
Beautiful.
It was awesome chatting with you. Have a good night, guys.
I
Yeah,
guess
let me
before it's all said and done, you guys have any questions on that player side of things? Anybody want to learn Fusion World in the future? So especially, I mean, you gotta beat
I'd be
Robbie. I gotta make
I
sure
mean,
you guys beat Robbie.
I'm
be down to
actually
learn.
thinking about getting into the One Piece more than Fusion World.
So I
The
will
circle and
most likely-
trapezoid people.
Well, just because I finally saw a trophy picture of how they look like, and goddamn, the thing looked amazing.
Don't mean you get one. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I was gonna say you want to play the game this year and then
Mark my
become a
words.
world's
Mark my
competitor.
words. If I learn it, don't be upset with me. I'm gonna come back and be like, fuck all y'all who said shot, and I have a big ass trophy. You know, I'm just saying.
Best part
It
is
might
that
not
if you
be a
know how to play
Ferrari.
Dragon Ball, you know how to play One Piece. I watched exactly one game of it and went, okay, I know the rules. Very easy.
I do. You know what? I'm probably gonna reach out to you because I would love to actually learn how to play Fusion Worlds. I did, like I said, I played the beta online for like 3 tutorials, and I'm stupid, so like I just maybe need like a walkthrough. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
See, you're
Gunny's
prob-
gonna
you're
need
probably-
that kindergarten. Gunny's gonna need that kindergarten special teachment
Yeah,
treatment. That's what Gunny-
like when you
Did take
you
a
gotta
math
draw-
class to teach kindergartners. I
you
gotcha.
you gotta draw a picture for me to understand what's happening. I'm a
I
little
was
bit
gonna say
autistic.
you're probably
In crayon.
more of a like
Bit-
you have to see it or do it rather than read it.
Read
Read
yeah,
how to
yeah.
do it. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean
that's like me. So I would need somebody to physically show me this is the card, this is what it does, this is how you use it. You turn it this way or you know what I'm saying? Like other than like reading 4
The tactile.
paragraphs
yeah.
and then having to reread it 3 times. Like that's
That
not even
dude-
the right fucking
That's-
card on the
I had
table.
to
So
sit,
I gotta.
I did that. I had to sit there and reread what action did. I was like, yeah, this is definitely the Tism talking right now because I don't know what's happening. I'm trying to get it figured out. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely hook up with you on that for sure.
Absolutely. You can watch me basically every Monday or Tuesday at twitch.tv/Jane Reich. Self plug here once again. And
do me a
you know,
favor,
we just
dude.
hang out.
Drop your plug in the chat so that if there's anyone in the chat that wants to learn how to play Fusion Worlds, Dean right here is your dude. He'll teach you how to play, and you know I'll definitely be watching shit. Learn a thing or
You
two.
can watch. I'll primarily play Fusion Worlds for probably about 2 to 3 months here. He's right. I picked up a case, so I've been called out and caught. So we're gonna play it for like 2 or 3 months here. But then the next set comes out on my birthday, the next Master set, and it already looks. I mean, we already talked about it, right? This set looks incredible. Just the art for the actual box, the handhold clash. That's some beautiful stuff. So I can't wait for
Brandon, show your
playing it.
cards, Brandon.
What's up?
Show your Fusion World cards you got.
The golds. Yeah, those are real pretty.
It's so
Yeah,
weird, dude.
they-
The
they are-
Fusion World gold cards look like the fucking SRs from Masters. I don't know why. It's weird. That was-
Numbers.
I mean, no. Okay, those look better than our SRs. Let's.
I mean, come on.
Go a little
I
bit.
mean-
You're a hater.
Hold on. I just so everybody can see this. I want to. I mean, listen. Is it cool? Yes. Actually, you know what? Holy fuck! Look at that texturing. Now that I'm realizing that.
Right.
Bro,
Yeah,
I
no,
just can't
it's-
get
that's a
past that. It
hero.
looks like
That's a
drip.
hero's card in
Chinese.
super form. Am I wrong? The hero's
Pardon me?
card in super form.
Like I definitely saw those cards at the bodega, dude. I don't know, man. Something ain't right.
Bro,
Something ain't-
yeah.
it ain't adding up, bro.
The
All right, boys.
texture,
I'm out.
the texture
I'll
is
see you,
very
Doc.
great.
Good night.
Yeah.
Love you, Doc.
I
So
dude,
there's one thing I love, and it's gonna be a Prism Rainbow Holofoil. I absolutely love it. It's the most beautiful thing that you can put on a card. I've screamed for this foiling, and for it to be, dude, look at that. I mean, are you kidding me?
It's ridiculous. I agree.
To me, that
I got it
foiling
too, right here. I got you.
is beautiful. Look at that. I can see you still.
Oh,
Yo, it's the
That's
same
a-
thing. Tell me it's not. Tell me it's not. Come
No,
on.
no. I'm with him on this one. Those cards are really pretty. Again, as a competitor, my problem, like a shiny card connoisseur, if you will. I want my whole deck to be as foil as possible, and it comes from the fact that I play my God Rare. I play this weekend. I use my alt art. Every one of these cards is like as max rarity as they come, and you just can't really do that in Fusion World because half your deck is common, uncommon, and so we need to. I just want Bandai to quit resetting their own mistake. Do you know that Naruto in set 1 in 2006 they had foils for every card, and in One Piece they still don't.
Let me ask you real quick because I got this card. So I had this little starter deck that I got plugged to Robbie for giving to me, and I don't know jack shit about playing cards. Okay, just throw it out there. This here is a pretty common, no?
So that is one of 7 cards that when you open the starter decks, you can get a single pack with that foil. So that's a great looking card. I think you might be falling to your prismatic gold bias a little bit. I have the blue and the yellow extra card of the exact same thing, and that looks good, but that's still not every card. And even then, that just kind of looks like every full art in Masters. You know what I mean?
Okay. What about
the
these
shadow?
here? Here, what about these?
That's got the shatter. Okay, but do you really think that looks better than which that is an SR? Do you think that looks better than the Android 21 with the gold texture and everything?
No. I'm just pointing this out because it has texture on it. I'm just curious to know if this is a card that you would put in a deck with multiple of. That's shiny.
Yeah. So that specific card is still good, and that actually does have that full art textured foil, that prismatic one. So I prefer the textured personally, so I would probably just play that. But if you want the higher rarity version that comes full art with your prismatic gold, you're going to be or prismatic rainbow, you're going to be in a pretty good spot because that is one of the cards that does come like that. The game itself is just solid.
What cards that are kind of like this, bro? Do you have any of those?
Only the energy markers.
Oh, the energy markers. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be gonna be it. Because that reminds me of one of my favorite SPRs is the set 5 and 6, the black and golds. I'm sure you guys remember those from
the ghosts. Yeah.
Yeah. Those ones are so sick. The Janemba one is one of my favorite cards, dude. Those are so pretty. There's that Broly that's like $80 or something like that just for an
There's
SPR.
two Brolys. There's 2 Brolys for those sets. I think.
You're right. The BR too. Yeah. The Transcendent.
Yep. Yeah. Those are great. Those are awesome foils. A lot of people they love the Gohan card they had for that. Vegeta has one.
I got that for $5 on a coin flip.
Jesus, dude. It's I don't know, dude. I find it. I think that Brona's thing with obviously he's.
I love this card. Okay. Absolutely loved it. I got pre-releases of it. I tried to black label it. I couldn't, but I love this card. But this card was different art for Masters. It was nothing that we've seen before, and it was beautiful the way it was formatted. And guess what they did? The energy markers is literally that.
Yeah.
But just like pretty as hell.
The full face right behind you.
Yeah. It's a super version of Heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Fusion World, right?
Isn't that so funny? Is that like the best art in the game is like all coming right now? Like I don't know if any of you know about like the Foo's Laboratory deck, but the Z Extra, where he's like it's a first person view of him with his like arms folded and his knee, he's got like the interview pose where your knee is above the other knee. I think it looks so good. And I just love what they're doing. I think all the new the God Rares have literally gotten better. Every single one has looked better than the last. I think Vegeta is the worst looking one, then Bardock, then Goku. I can't pick between Gogeta and UI. You cannot make me do that.
Yeah, you can.
Gogeta is the best looking God rare we've
Yeah,
ever got.
that's the rainbow man. Talking, he's like, oh, the one with the rainbow behind it. Yeah, that's the.
Damn,
But
Gunny's just sick
It's
right now. Look at
different. It's different.
Yeah.
I wanted something different, man. I'm so
Imagine
sick
having-
of the same thing over and over.
Yeah, like imagine having the Gogeta GDR like in a 9.5 though. Like that's weak, right? That's fucking so like it has to be
Imagine
like a
sending it
10.
Oh, mine is
Imagine
definitely worse than that. I've been
sending
playing it.
Imagine sending the Gogeta DDR in for like a graded card review, and like it just continually comes back, no bump up. Like that would be.
That'd be crazy.
You know,
Hey,
will say,
Dave,
I will say, so I pulled the Gogeta GDR on a case break that was happening. Like,
Oh,
and like
nice.
me, like this is just me going in, $85. I'll buy a box. It's being ripped 3 weeks early to pre-release. Why not? And sure as shit, I hit it. I will say that to me, that's like a really nice. I think it's probably one of the best looking GDRs. I will say, the UI Goku. Looked amazing in the gold championship format, you know, just because it's all gold. That metal card, literally, it's, you know, hands down the best metal card that is produced in clarity, that you can see like everything surrounding it, right? I'll be biased and say I think the best gold card is a Vegito gold card, just because I'm an avid Vegito collector. But the details that are in that UI Goku are beyond believable, you know, from what I've seen.
Have earrings, and he's not wearing earrings, so that's
I
always
can
cool.
I can tell you the in person. Yeah, it's as
Yeah,
gorgeous.
I'm
as
just.
it
I
looks.
mean, I'm not. That was like a weird shot because like UI Goku's got his nipples out and a bunch of dudes on him. So we'll leave it at that.
They love it.
No, I mean,
He's there by himself.
having owned most of the golds, that world champion looked beautiful in person. I got to see it when Robbie came by the house. It's unbelievable. Now the Vegito 2019, I've owned that card twice now, and the 2019 etching was not done as deep or in detail as years afterwards. They've done a beautiful job with a flat gold to make it look like a mirror. So where in certain angles, it looks like a very deep black. And to me, I think 2021, they started it really good. And then 2022, they upped it with SS4. And then this year, they kind of went backwards. So if you look at 2023's golds, the front of them is in a different style of etching similar to 2019, but the back of them, the alt art that we finally got, the first time ever for a trophy card where both sides are alt art, the back of them they have the flat mirror, whereas before they didn't. So it's different, but I do think that the GDR World Champion is the best goal that we've ever gotten to see be made, besides the AP, because it's AP and it's the face of the game. But by far none, that's the best card.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'd agree.
Yeah, no earrings. Got it.
Yeah, before we go, Nate, for one of our viewers out there, do you mind showing us your GDR in his plain sleeve? Just to make him stick real quick.
Oh fuck. Hopefully it's got
I hope.
bent corners and shit. Hopefully it's wrecked.
Shorty's gonna be sick.
Those pants are by far better than what the Gardener is gonna look like.
Oh my god! Don't you start, dude.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Dude.
god.
This poor
Yeah, I'm
Dang.
wearing Dragon Ball pants. What of it?
Yeah, dude. Hot.
They're also just the most comfortable pair. I bought them like at a cousin's wedding. I just saw them at Target and went, "Oh, I need some pajama pants for this weekend, huh?" And they're just the most comfortable thing I own. So here is, let's get it out at the top loader. That's gonna shine a little too much.
Here you go, Shorty.
No, that's his actual one that he's keeping. Is that the one you play with?
No, I just got this the other day. It was
Oh, okay.
part of a deal with the green one that I've got here. Basically, I gave him like $300 worth of cards plus the green one for this guy.
You play with the Gogeta one though, correct? In your
Yes.
deck?
So Gogeta. So my favorite character is Zamasu, but my second favorite is Gogeta, specifically Super Saiyan Fusion Reborn Gogeta with the orange armbands, the regular Super Saiyan kind of deal. So imagine my sadness when the Gogeta deck that played Zamasu cards in it was not super competitively viable. Got a little
Dane,
sad.
What's
Dan, I gotta
that,
show you
what's that
something.
Gogeta
Hold
look
on.
like? What's that Gogeta look like? Show us that in the sleeve.
Yeah, the one you play with.
1 second.
Plus, we want to see you get back up in those pants.
Oh God.
Oh, good.
You need to stop.
I gotta show Dane something since his favorite character is Gogeta Fusion Reborn.
He's grabbing the Gogeta that he plays with. We want to see it.
It didn't even take him 5 booster boxes to get it either. That's what's wild. Or 5 booster cases to get it either. That's what's wild
Yeah,
about
I
it.
know.
Jesus.
Cases, not cases.
Jesus.
Dude, I still haven't hit a God Rare out of it, and I've ripped
Dude,
pieces like a loser.
I hit the Bardock GDR at a Walmart blister. Oh,
There it
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Oh.
There it is.
Yo, bro,
Cardi.
you know what's crazy is that
What
you
a
play that
throw.
card, and I bet you it would still hit a BGS 10. That's the crazy part.
We're matching up
Oh,
Gogeta
yo.
love right now.
Imagine that
That's so
card hit a
gorgeous.
BGS 10, but someone else has only got a 9.5. That's wild behavior.
Yeah, dude, that looks really clean.
Unfortunately, I
for
got a
being
pretty
played.
bad. I got a pretty bad print mark.
No,
my green,
that-
my green doesn't really have one, but
Dane,
this guy's boxed over
original Doga from the movie.
from the actual movie. Oh, that is
Yeah.
like the prettiest looking Dragon Ball movie too. The animation in it is so good.
Oh, it's beautiful. So it actually translates to the original animation sketches as well.
Hmm.
They're just like some of the most beautiful. I'll show you. There it is. Check out the SS3. That's when he goes upside down
Oh my goodness.
from the kick that Janemba.
Yeah.
There's just so much more detail in the sketches than what we got in the actual like shows.
You couldn't
in the
see it, but
movie.
I looked my eyes because it was on Discord, and then it went away from Discord, but it was still on the stream, and I like looked over at the stream to see it, to be able to watch it over just a little bit longer. I got my one of my personal favorite arts. I don't know if you guys like this, the Clash of Fates SPRs.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, that whole
I think
set's
this
great.
I think this Goku is like the single best art in the game, like the actual
Well,
art too.
But that's part of it though, Dane. Like if we're sitting here and we're saying, listen, I love Z. I think all of us can sit here and say we love Z.
Mhm.
We did not get that much Z on a high rarity
It-
card.
I agree. Yep. And all the and it sucks that like all the secret rares in the game, they just keep doing like Xenoverse stuff, no matter like what
Mhm.
color you're in. And it's cool, like Baby Hachiak is neat, but it's like, but have you looked at the price of a Gohan? There's a reason that like the Frieza Goku is still most expensive, and that card has never seen competitive play. Gohan is a good card. Frieza is terrible. And then
You want to hear something? You want to hear something crazy?
okay.
That's a beautiful card.
That's
We
awesome.
have not had a base Super Saiyan Goku as a trophy card ever.
Yeah,
Hasn't happened.
And then even on the new Gogeta alt art, it's still base form Gogeta and
Correct.
Vegeta on the back.
We have never had a base form SS. You know what? The highest rarity that we have is a Battle Hours Apex of Power rematch, but it's Goku and Vegeta in Super Saiyan form.
That's
Just to throw that out there.
that is really odd too, because you can always tell, right? They're so biased towards like the highest form of everything, not necessarily like SS2 Gohan has been so snubbed in this game, and like
Until this year.
well, it was the most important deck this year, right?
Yeah.
Like it defined the year. But even still, I would say that like it doesn't have a secret rare still, which is kind of crazy that there isn't like a green secret rare of like the big clash between the two, which is like fine. But honestly, what's that? The Unison, that's like the yellow card, but it's all blue because it's the shot from within the beam. You guys know what SPR I'm talking about from Ultimate
I
Ambition?
can't recall.
which one is it? Repeat that one.
It's the yellow Unison from Ultimate Squad, where it's a yellow card, but the whole thing is blue because it's the shot from within. Like you're getting Cell's perspective where he's seeing Gohan walk forward with the one arm.
Oh yeah.
in the
Yep,
blue.
Yep.
Like that could have been a secret rare if they just gave it more texturing, right?
Yeah.
But
100%.
for some reason they just haven't given these secret rares to these characters. They're just Jiren doesn't have an SPR to this day. That's crazy that like one of the three bad guys from Super doesn't have an SPR.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
they definitely missed that window for Jiren as a character to be like a collector's piece, because there are Jiren collectors, which is weird because
Of course.
but Jiren definitely formidably one of the best opponents that Goku has faced. Obviously, with the unleashing of techniques, and it brings out the character build of Goku in Super. They definitely missed that window for him to be like a collector's piece for sure.
But
Red
what
Aura.
about Frieza? But what about Frieza? Frieza has 2 SCRs, but he's not really the main on the SCR. You got Bardock, where he's in a ship in the background, right? And then you've got the OG one, where
Army
it's
Reborn.
him
Broly
and Broly and Paragus on the side. He doesn't have his own SCR. We don't have him in a bulked up version going nuclear against Goku, which we should have. And we haven't had a trophy card of him besides the COVID year champion card. That's it.
What about,
I mean,
What
we
would
did
you-
get we did get the Sig. We got a Frieza Sig.
what about,
That signature,
what
yeah.
about Bulma, though?
Yeah, but every
Bulma got a
character
bunny
for
girl
this
card, and it appeased the horny folks at home. We
She
can,
got one. She got one card.
Who?
yeah, but that was already too many. Don't we agree?
Well, you know what's
Bulma.
funny is dude, is that One Piece does so well for multiple reasons. But I think the 2 main ones is that they have the waifus, right? Obviously, there's a lot of hornballs out there, but the waifus that are in One Piece are not rendered useless on a power scale.
Mhm.
So, like in the anime, they actually contribute on a very large scale, whereas in Dragon Ball, we haven't had that
Since
until
Android 18.
Kefla
Or I
and
guess
Kale and well, as far as in Android 18, but like she was a villain and she was an android. She never really got her respect.
Mhm.
But if we look at it from a Dragon Ball perspective, I mean, One Piece, they all Nami, Boa, Robin, they all contribute on a very large scale of power, where we just don't have that yet.
That's true. That Toriyama just doesn't really write powerful women, nor does he really try to sexualize them either. Besides Bulma, right? Like obviously it's really weird with the OG Dragon Ball, but that's a Japan in the '80s thing, sure, whatever.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
since then, nobody's been sexualized at all. Like 18 was always very fully clothed. Chi-Chi's never had that sort of thought process. Even now, the newest characters, right, Ribrianne and stuff, that was a really easy, blatant oh, you just make Ribrianne the sexy character, and they didn't.
Yeah, she was just like a pop star.
Dude, I picked up a
So-
medal. Did I tell you I picked up a medal Vegito?
Yeah, you said it earlier, right?
Yeah, I got this medal
gold?
Vegito. Yeah, the gold medal Vegito.
Nope.
Oh, which card? Okay, wait a second. I don't think I know this card.
Yeah, it's a new one that just came out.
Is it from
Bodega.
Heroes?
The Bodega.
Oh, it's a hero. Okay, that's right. It's a Heroes
It's from,
card.
it's from China.
It's
from
top house.
China.
Oh, and it's
It's
spelled with the Vegito.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
pretty.
So,
So-
I like that bag. So then, do you guys have more of the silver top 16 cards? Because I figure, especially if you're on larger budgets, that at 12 to $1,500, these would be kind of right in the prime, right? Is that you just pick up one of these every year?
So I've considered
Is
it.
that
I've seen
something
it.
you guys thought?
I've considered. I've seen
I-
it. I'm
I
not
like the
committed to
silvers.
it. I'm not committed to
Mhm.
it personally. I like, I've drastically changed direction in my collection. Like I used to collect a little bit of everything, and then I realized that I was majorly in debt, so I just sold everything and said I'm just gonna collect Vegito. So, and then anything Vegito value worthy trophy wise is completely out of my price range. So yeah,
Shame,
it's just-
shame that you like the lesser fusion. That's so unfortunate.
Oh,
but hold on now.
Tate,
Hold on, listen.
Tate, I liked you up until right now. That's the craziest.
Hey, I'm gonna go to bat here. I think Vegito in Super is better than Gogeta in Super. I think Gogeta in Z is better than Vegito in Z.
I wouldn't argue that.
I do think I think Vegito looks better with blue than Gogeta does.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
true.
I won't argue that.
I mean, Soul Punisher, dude.
Yeah, it's
What
about-
a
Fusion
move.
Bro, Fusion Reborn, he was a fucking badass.
Showed up and just handed it to him.
bro. That one when he fought Janemba, and he's just this is as he's moving towards him, bro. He's just kind of just floating. Got that whole Michael Jackson style going on, bro. He's just moving without really moving his feet. You're like, what the fuck is happening right now? So I mean, I got to give it to him. I won't take that from him. Shut the fuck up, Shorty. I see you in the chat.
Earrings for life, and small vests.
Oh, man. Shorty's gonna. He's not gonna let you live this down.
No.
You know that, Gunny.
There we go. There's a pretty one.
Yeah,
Look
you know
at
what?
the, and the orange just is so clean on it.
So sick.
That's a
And
1200.
then they made him yellow and super. What were they doing?
1,200.
That was terrible.
Looks so
Terrible.
Yeah,
weird.
You know what?
Base form looks okay. Like base form super is not terrible. But the second you put the blue with the yellow, I'm like, dude, get that away from me.
Yep. I agree.
So,
Mhm.
all right, listen.
But we can.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's sick.
It's so pretty. It's
Crop
unreal.
top, the crop top padded shoulder vest. Yeah, I love it, dude. It's fucking great.
Well, and and especially this card reminds me of like the Digimon cards, the new high
That
ends.
screams Wolf on Wall Street, 80s, blowing coke with shoulder pads. Give me a break, man. With the rainbow foil, sign me up.
No skin tone, just pure white. Yeah.
Exactly.
Anything else you guys want to chat about before we wrap this up here?
I love you guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us on. I never get to
Thank you.
talk about like the market of the game. It's always, competitive, and the prize cards are so interesting. So I have the win has evaded me this year. I mean, we're just a lot of second and thirds, which is good because it means I have Kaiokens, but it's bad because it means that I never got the gold cards for the winners. So you guys are talking about like the $15,000 cards. I'm like, man, I don't have any of those, and I haven't won any of them to sell them.
Hey, Dane, can I ask you a question? Actually, I'm sorry. I know we're so late in the game, but as a player, when you did you ever win a full sheet?
No, so that was part of the story earlier. So I got third in 3 different regionals during that season where it was top 2 that get it. And then when I did get second finally in the summer at Gen Con, that was the season the weekend that they stopped doing it. They had them for the in-person Gen Cons, but not the 2 webcam ones, and that hurt. So I was like, the one thing I want. So that's what this is. This banner is just a placeholder for my uncut sheet that I had to go to my teammate Jared, who got 4 of them during the year because he got second twice and won 5 regionals. God, he's rich. It's unfortunate. And I have a positive record on him too. That's the worst part. Is that I can't seem to lose to him, it feels. And then we made a bet, basically, like, I will trade you a Kaioken Goku straight up, the cereal, 1-to-1 if you outplace me at this tournament. If I outplace you, I'll give you $150 in the Kaioken. He got 7th and I got 11th, and we had the same record, but technically lower. So
but let me ask you, as a player, if you won that sheet and now you've seen how much, okay, I'm sure you probably would have. It would look badass on that wall.
Yeah.
Would you, if your intentions were to sell it, would you look at one-piece sheets and be like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, I think so. So like you still have to do the math, right? So I think the pre-release weekend, or not, the release weekend of it, last Nationals, when we didn't know it was also going to be during the regional season, I know of one sale that happened on the day for 4K. It happened day of for 4K. It went to all of top 8, and so I was like, okay, so 4K for an 8 of 8, that makes sense to me. Even if you do the math, right? If there were 13 regionals that had it for top 3 only, or top 2 only, that's 26 more, so there's 32 of them in existence, and it's an uncut sheet of Dragon Ball cards with Bardock, so it has some Z. It's got OG Dragon Ball because it has the tournament power stuff from green. It's got GT on there from all the red stuff. Like it covers the Budokai stuff, which is my favorite deck, the Angel Coup deck from that set. It's one of those things where I wonder why they are so cheap right now, because it's also the only uncut sheet Dragon Ball has. We know that we have not seen a leaked thing. I think that's what Bandai's been really good about for these games, is that there's no backdoor anything.
You sure about that?
Okay. There's a lot less backdoor stuff than in previous.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I mean, relative to other card games too, right? Like, think about Yu-Gi-Oh! Every set has uncut sheets. Every
Okay,
set
well,
in Yu-Gi-Oh! Has uncut sheets.
So we had Dragon Ball Score had uncut sheets.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they have some value actually, pretty decent. People want to collect those. But I just compare it to One Piece. I'm like, holy shit! If I'm a player and I won that, and I'm looking at myself like, how is this not even like a quarter of the One Piece? Because Bandai's going to follow the same rule and probably end up doing more of the One Piece ones throughout regionals. We can probably assume, safe to assume.
Yeah.
And people are paying 30 to 40 grand on an uncut sheet.
That's that Japan magic, I think, is what it comes down to. Is that like Japan cares about Dragon Ball, but they care about One Piece. I mean, One Piece is on park benches, right? Like advertisements for One Piece are still on park benches.
I think that Dragon Ball is a victim of the time where they were so early that they weren't able to reap the benefits of the new age of anime and manga being so relevant in a cultural timeline. Where I think that with the new anime coming out and then Super coming out again, I think we do see a switch where people become more engaged. And I think that's why Fusion World's so important, coming out with Daima, or how you pronounce it, because Daima, it is kid-like. And my kids could watch that. You know, you look at little chibis running around on the anime. I think we're going to see a big shift. So if we end up seeing Dragon Ball Masters kick back up, it's going to be because Dragon Ball's back when anime is at its height. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what it was, right? Around the superhero movie, everyone was waiting. They're like, how are they taking this 6 months to make this Gohan card? I need this Gohan card. And I agree, because kids today don't. I have teenagers that, you know, my brother is friends with, and they don't care about Dragon Ball. Not even a little. And the games don't do the same justice that they used to in terms of just getting you in either.
It's okay, because it's, you know, kind of talking back on topic with what Brenneman's saying is that at some point, you know, One Piece is at its height right now because anime and, you know, the Japanese culture is so popular amongst this generation. They have 1,000 episodes to sit on, so that's just stewing there, right? So now when Dragon Ball comes back, right, you get this 10-year window. What's going to happen is that's going to capture an audience that people are like, well, Dragon Ball's mid, right? Until they see, they're like, damn, this is kind of fire. Then that's gonna cause like a relapse. Boom, we're gonna start Dragon Ball Z. It's gonna go through all the sagas. You'll go right into Super, and then you'll catch up to where we are. Yeah, we're not 1,000 episodes deep, but I'm sure that
not far behind. It's not bad. OG Dragon Ball is like 540 episodes plus. Yeah. You know, 120 for OG actual Dragon Ball and 150 for Super.
So, then I guess we're probably right at that 1,000 episode cusp, I'd probably say, right?
Yeah, if you add in GT, you're probably not too far off.
Way over. Yeah, I think if you add in GT, you're over.
Hold on. OG Dragon Ball does not have that many episodes.
OG is what, 100, like 120, 110 for actual OG Dragon Ball? When I say OG Dragon Ball, I meant OG Dragon Ball Z, referring to the fact that it's not Kai, was kind of what I was trying to mean.
I'm not considering Kai.
Because, like, it's one of those things, and I don't know if you guys have ever actually tried to watch Dragon Ball as an adult, like Dragon Ball Z. Those episodes are rough. Thank God Kai exists.
The 6-7 episodes of fucking Namek Saga where fucking fight.
Well, it's every saga. That's the thing, is that I tried, because I was like, I'm gonna go watch like around the Vegito fight. Like, I want to see like the Buu through that, and I'm like, why did it take 25 episodes for nothing to happen? Like the Potara situation, the throwing of the Potara is literally a full episode of them like discussing what they're gonna do with the Potara, who it could possibly be, and then like missing.
You didn't like seeing Goku and Hercule combined together?
Well, Goku was great. But it's one of those things where like the pacing is just so 90s of like, they were so in over their head of like trying to produce an episode of an anime every week instead of doing seasonal stuff. But you know, that's the time. And now it is aged fun. So like, I know that I got most of my Dragon Ball story. I'm 27, by the way. I got most of my Dragon Ball story from playing like Budokai and Tenkaichi games, and then having VHSs of certain specific sets right? But I don't think I've ever actually watched Dragon Ball proper because it is very difficult to watch all the way through because the pacing is so poor in the OG. Kai, much better.
Yeah, I watched Dragon Ball in Spanish, the original, like Kid Goku, like in Mexico. Like that's the only time I
So
ever
Sean
watched.
Schemmel, hashtag not your Goku.
But yeah, that was that's how I remember Dragon Ball. Obviously, it's just fucking Kid Goku speaking Mexican, not even Spanish. He was speaking Mexican.
He's old, by the way.
That's
Who?
what we really need.
Sean?
We really need
The Mexican guy. I see him every
yeah.
fucking year, and Jesus Christ.
He said, I see him every year at my family's barbecue. He's always here. Dude.
When that comment,
hold-
I'm leaving. Fuck you, piece of shit.
But yeah, so I mean, listen, we'll we can go on about this for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
Seriously, Dane, dude, thank you so much for tagging on and sticking around long enough, dude. And just know that you're more than welcome to pop in whenever, man. It's an open door. I leave, for everyone that comes in here, it's a guest, man. I really just leave the door open, so you guys are more than welcome to stop in whenever. And same goes for Bo Namath. And again, thank you for jumping in here. I know this is a little bit out of the realm, but I figured it'd be a good piece for you to jump in and kind of talk because there's a lot of influence there in that spectrum. I do have a remark though for Bro Namath.
Oh boy.
I wouldn't say Bro Namath specifically, but in general, TCG Kirby said, "All right, so let's talk about ARS slabs."
I thought it was ASR, or
I thought it was AGS at one point.
so now that TTC is going over to Japan, will we continue to see everyone grade with that company in Japan, or they go to CGC? I guess that'd be my question.
So I think that they're gonna obviously go over to CGC with the reason that it's a lottery system to grade with ARS.
It's like Tag or whatever that company's called.
I don't know about Tag, maybe.
They're gas though. I gotta give them props. Like they're gas. I don't know about the quality of if they're grade how accuracy, but like the quality of the slab and stuff, dude, they are nutty.
I hate it. You wanna know why I hate it? Maybe because I'm old, and when I'm looking at a slab, why the hell do I want to look at the ground to figure out what the card is?
Yeah, the on top. I think that's.
I'm talking about the feel, the weight, the fact that it's a metal, nameplate, and the clarity. That's what I'm talking about. They're the clarity.
It is clear. It is clear.
I also don't like.
CGC had a baby.
I also don't like how tight the card is inside the window. It's smudged in there, and I don't like that at all.
No, it's got room in there. I'm looking at it. It's got room.
No shot. It's a perfect square, and it sits right inside the square.
What would you not want? Why would you want? What does it need? It doesn't need a living room, dude. It's a card. It's
wants
sitting
to
in
rattle.
place.
He wants to rattle like a PSA.
So when you grade, God, I can't even speak in this room. My goodness, he's slamming me for not liking ARS. How dare you?
I don't even know what the grading system you guys are talking about. I'm now seeing this for the first time in live action.
You've never seen ARS?
No, I know CGC.
You're better off.
Like it's clear and clean, but why is it on the bottom?
It's Japanese.
That's okay. Great. They don't do top to bottom back and right. It's just right to left.
Yeah, I know, but like we grade top, so they're gonna we're gonna go bottom.
You gotta switch it up.
And the grade's on the back. You gotta flip it over to see the grade.
That's terrible.
Well, no,
Yeah,
because that just means that they highlight the value of the card.
No, I like I prefer BGS, and I love the PSA label still. I just feel like it's so classic. Like it feels like what a graded card is supposed to be in. It's very simple Comic Sans style, but I do also recognize that I don't know why they don't use a full clear slab, why they have that like matted section. I also like that they I don't know, I just think they're so pretty. And then BGS Black Labels look incredible.
I don't like how their cards rattle inside of the slab.
Mine don't have that problem, but I can imagine after many cards, I have 4 PSA graded cards, so I imagine you've got a couple more that might be moving around in there.
Dude, I don't like how PSA 10s have a bunch of white marks on the back, but
Well, that is Dragon Ball, unfortunately, because if that's the case, there will never be a PSA 10 anything. So you got to pick your battles, like Bro Davis was saying. You can't be happy. There's no appeasing everybody, because if you want to get a PSA 10 anything in Dragon Ball, that ain't gonna happen. Simply not gonna happen. The card control is the quality control is just not there.
I could sleepwalk a PSA 10. I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I don't even what's cleaning a card? I just throw them in a bubble mailer raw, no penny sleeve, nothing, and ship them there, and they get 10s all day.
Dane, you've been around Dragon Ball long enough to know the older sets, the SCR. Obviously, SCR is always in the back. That the foiling from the wrapper was always on the back of the card.
Mm-hmm.
And PSA would grade that as 10s.
Yeah. No, I understand. What I'm saying is, like, sometimes you gotta pick the battle, and you can try to do it that way, but that's like, if the card doesn't exist as a PSA 10 in the world without white spots, is it not better to just give the best conditioned ones with the white spots the 10?
They do that with score. They grade score differently than they would DBS.
Yeah, that would be kind of like my baseline thought.
They do the same thing with like vintage baseball cards. Like there's a different format for like grading scale. But listen, everyone, Dane's not a big grader. Dane has a very open-minded opinion, and Dane does not like ARS.
True.
And I think that's the deciding factor here. That makes that's a tiebreaker.
Tiebreaker.
Crystal clear metal is good, but I can't read your label at all. I can't.
It's in Japanese, so unless you're fluent.
Okay, that is not the reason I can't read the label.
I can't read kanji. So what do you want me to do?
Start getting them graded in Spanish. Obviously, that's the next.
It does.
That's the next goal.
Hey, I got a cousin that knows they do it for you.
Dane, you just brought up a bat. Dude, you just brought up something sick. Could you imagine if you sent your cards to Beckett or PSA and you selected a different language in which your card was graded in? That would be pretty sick.
Ooh, the highest value one's probably still English, right? English or Japanese.
But I mean, for like, Gunny likes to speak Spanish. You can imagine if he had a bunch of slabs in Spanish that he could take back home to the bodega, and everyone would be like, "Oh, listen, I understand exactly what this card is."
That's a custom card, right? I'm not crazy.
I know what I got. I know what I have. No ball offers. I know
yeah. That is a custom card, right? I'm not going crazy. They didn't print something like that, and I just missed it.
No.
That's a world champion.
Yeah, world champions 2026 right there. No, dude.
I can't believe I'm gonna win that in 2026. What a good prize.
Oh shit! Later, man.
Bye guys. Nice TV4 Jane Reich.
God, you guys are funny. Bye.
I'm gonna need that Luffy.
I'm sending off to get a GCR on that card. Hopefully it's a black label. Then I can get it.
Hopefully it's not, so I have better odds of getting it.
Then you could sell it to fund your your Fusion World promos for $600.
Gunny, you shut the fuck up.
Oh, that is the other thing I grabbed. I like literally brought over the deck box, but I didn't get to show you.
Oh, now I gotta see what it is. Damn it! Before I get off, I gotta take a picture.
Yep. Pay attention.
Oh
yeah. I mean,
I have Trunks and Cooler in a different box, but
it looks good, dude. It does.
What did you pay?
What did I what?
Well, what did you trade or valued it? Paid for it?
So I sat down. It was like my round 3 opponent. I was like, "Hey, man, I'll give you $65 for both the gold Goku Black and the regular one, because I have, the one of every Goku and Goku Black card." But I think realistically, it depends on. They're coming to the celebrations events in stores.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be the big determination. Is that I don't know if they're going to be like candy or if they're going to be, hey, this is participation. That we have 16 of them per store. Because these are not guaranteed out of the energy and marker packs. It looked like about 1 in every 4 packs had 1 gold, and then there are the 9 different golds that or 12 different golds that you would try to get.
It was like 1 in like what 30 something 40 something packs. You'd hit the 1 card you wanted, so it's actually not that easy to hit or pull rate.
Yeah, for a specific one. Now I think the problem is that much like Robert spoke on earlier, was this is a one of. even for like a high rarity thing, you don't need 4 of this. You need 1 energy marker, and that's truly like has what killed the value of like our SCRs, right? I mean, you guys see it on release; they're about $200, and then by the end of the set, they're 70, 80. A couple sets later, they're $50 or less, right? But that's because you only need 1. You only need 1 Gogeta rare. I chose the expensive one because I'm a madman, but you only need the 1 secret rare Gogeta. You don't need 4. And if you needed 4 of a card that was 1 in every 6 boxes, more realistically, 1 in every 18 boxes for a specific secret rare, that's a little different conversation.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, Fusion World's gonna have a bunch of SCRs, so you won't have that problem.
Yeah, but they don't look as good. The UI Goku looks good, but
after a couple of years, you know.
The father son is worse than every father son card we have in Masters.
I'll judge.
When you start out,
no way. The SCR alt art is the worst.
It is no. It is worse than the ones in Masters, but the alt art is a lot better. Because is there even an alt art for the secret rare yet? Do we have that?
Yeah,
have we seen
it's
it?
unbelievable.
What, the UI
Is it on
Goku?
Twitter?
No, the alt art father son that came out today.
Oh, the one that came out today, dude. I have not been on the internet in 5 days.
Bro, when you start ripping
I
cases,
crashed.
Give me that UI.
When I start ripping
Bro,
into cases. Ooh, okay. No, yeah, nope. I'm agreeing. That is the best one we've got. Yeah, I'm looking at the little video they posted on Twitter.
Yeah, the video is unbelievable.
Bro, you look at it and you're just like, wow, okay, it looks just like the other.
This
fathers.
UI?
I don't know.
Look at the detail in the back, where everyone's rooting him on, like the anime portrayed. This is small detail.
Good.
Gunny,
Wow,
you're
that's
great,
great.
bro. Cool
That's good.
Vegetos. Gogeta's better, loser. See you later.
Get out of here, dude. Get out of here.
Love you.
You say Vegito is better?
I'm a
He said
Vegeta
Goku
collector.
is better.
Yeah, I'm a
Oh,
Vegeta. So
I mean,
everyone busts my balls.
He's spitting then. He's
Tiny
spitting.
balls.
Like, dude, like this is like this right here. If you look at this, Dane, this is a stack of Vegito cards that I plan to grade, and like
You
I
look
already
like
have
me
a
and-
majority. It's gross.
Look like me and
I-
Sasuke.
It's disgusting, dude. I'm sick to my stomach sometimes.
That's okay. We've all got our stuff to do, and I just have a binder. You want to see actual sickness? Is the Goku Black Zamasu binder? I want one of every Goku Black and Zamasu card, and your thought process could be, oh, well, he means one of each card. No, I mean I want a common version. I want the common foil version. I want
you're
the common stamped version. I'm sick in the head, I know.
Yeah, you're like a sick. You're like
And
a
then they
sick
reprinted
person.
all the cards in set 10, and then they put it also in the Goku Black Expert deck, and that was a different foiling.
Jesus.
There is one card. So Zamasu the Eliminator is the blue yellow one. That card has like 9 printings, including a side event winner that, to our knowledge, there are 7 of in the world. I don't know how I'm gonna get that one, but I gotta find it. I have a spot in the binder for it.
What do I have? I have a top 16 Zamasu.
The medal leader or the finalist?
Not a
Eliminator?
finalist. No, let me see here. That's one I got off a Tinker. Let me see. I have it here somewhere. Pretty sure it's in this Beckett box.
Holly, were you writing questions down, or did nobody ask any?
No, people
There were
have
not
it.
there were a couple
there
questions,
wasn't
but not a lot.
There was some questions that got answered within the make, so there wasn't really much to ask other than the one that someone was wondering what decks were used in the last nationals.
How many people are in there or in here?
Right now 18, but we were holding.
That's
about
just
close to 40.
I think that's is that got gold lightning on it?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the if you won that regional season, so that would have been spring of 2021. If you got first in the regional, you got that pack. If you went to nationals that year and you got top 32, you got 1. If you got top 16, you got 4. So that was, a couple hundred of those that are in existence, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So it varied.
I do have that. I do have that one specifically. Yeah, that's one of the, and that's the funny thing, right? Is that card also exists just without lightning, and then it got printed as a reprint because it got errated to be weaker, so they printed it with a no foil and without the errata, and then they also printed it in the collector's volume. They printed it as a finalist version, a side event winner. Oh gosh, there are a couple more too.
Yeah,
I got that Vegito.
Yeah, just to go with the
Okay.
just so they go together. I
Bro,
don't know.
why is your camera so zoomed in?
I don't. Yo,
He was
back
trying
up
to show
my-
us
get out of
stuff.
my- Get out of my face, bro. Get out of my face.
I
man.
feel like I can see
Yeah.
inside
About a
of you
fight.
right
About
now.
I got a
Okay.
better zoom in right here. Hold on.
Oh my god. Why does that look just like Gunny right now?
Yo, bro, Javi, you are a piece of shit, dude. I hope you fucking stub your toe, cocksucker.
Yo, that looks just like Gunny, G.
I
That's
look
wild,
at the fucking computer screen and I just see it, and then I look at Gunny's face. It's just identical.
Oh, Wolfman said he asked a bunch of questions and nobody answered him.
I missed those.
Wolfman.
Well, they must have
Jeez.
sucked.
Wow.
Questions must have been dog shit.
Wow.
Jeez. Tune in on Mondays on day stream for the questions that aren't answered.
Monday or Tuesdays at twitch.tv/DaneReich. I'm gonna put all the emojis in there because I want you guys to see these too. What these are like. Where's the Dane Reich All Hail?
This guy.
I just put him in the chat right there.
Oh, he's got the Zamasu in there. Is that a picture?
Yeah,
of
so
you,
he's
dude?
in the it is. It's the Dane Reich cringe. And then there's the Dane Reich All Hail where he's in the priest outfit colors because we do All Hail. And then the better player alert. That's probably my favorite one. Is just you're just a better player. You know, sometimes you just look at that, exactly what I needed. In my match against Legends, I lost by exactly one card. I dumped my whole hand on it in top 16. And he got out giving me every card in his hand, and right off the top he goes, "Oh, there's my secret rare," and I went, "Okay."
These are
Better player.
These are all of ours here. I don't know if you see those in the thing. I'll put them on. We got
Gunny needs to
Legendary.
update his.
Noted. Rest in peace.
Well, these are way higher quality than mine. Who does your stuff?
That's D-Ghost_13. My brother does. He's our junk drawer tech.
Shoot me his contact info because I've got one. I want to make. I need a couple. I've got a "you don't mean that" thing. When your opponent does something that, like, obviously they need to do it to win, you don't mean that. You're just joking. And then poor people cards. I don't play with poor people cards. Is what I call them. That's the common. Yeah, no poor people cards.
I'm curious to know what a poor people card is.
Anything that isn't the highest rarity or like close to it. Like
Oh
if
my
I was
God.
playing with the regular Gogeta Secret Rare, that card's only $80. I don't use poor people cards.
Oh,
All right, that's my cue. I'm leaving. He's telling me to get the fuck out of here.
It's true. If a card can come in like a pretty high rarity foil, I play it. It's just
You gonna
Tough
sell me
photo.
that UI?
this one. I don't
You
think
got it?
so. I don't think so. If you
You
shoot
sure?
me an offer, I might listen to it. It looks like this. How am I supposed to let this thing go? You know,
dude, last sold Amazon was $89. What's up? Do it right now.
This one?
true.
Michael?
That's the one. God, that card is so pretty.
Whose is that, Javi?
Ken's.
Oh man. All right. I am gonna bow out here.
Yeah.
Thoughts on MetaZoo news? Did something happen in the MetaZoo? Did they
Oh,
get can't?
No, we don't talk
Oh.
MetaZoo in here.
Good call.
MetaZoo had their 40-yard dash and it came to an end quick. That's
Oh,
that.
is it over? They canceled it.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
done.
It's done. It's done.
Yep. Yeah.
Hilarious. I still see it in my Target. It's like the same product that's been on that shelf for a year and a half, and I'm like, you deserve that.
I wonder.
You deserve that.
I've never looked into it, but I've heard a lot of like just conversation about like how like it was kind of a self-destruction from the inside. So, but I mean,
Well, as it
obviously,
turns out, you tried a physical card game to NFTs. Little hard to. They started the game by going, by the way, our game is only about money. See ya.
yeah, that's crazy.
Black.
Sane Kid hit that a Black Label today. Oh, I saw that. Sane Kid 7. Did you also hit the Black Label? Hit the Black Label Goku, and then there was another one. You hit 2 Black Labels, right, Sane Kid?
Okay, but I do really got to use the bathroom.
Go ahead.
Have a great
Do your
night,
thing.
guys.
Hey,
Thanks so
Dan,
much
see
for
you later,
having
brother.
me.
Be well, man.
Yeah,
Right.
anything, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. I forget.
And then there were three.
What was the other Black Label you hit? He hit 3. He hit 2 of them. I saw his submission on Instagram.
We loading up or what?
What time is it? Midnight? I play it. Oh, the Goku Vegeta World Champ. Yeah. I have that one. All right. Well, Joe, buy me a pool. That's crazy.
I hope you fucking break your
Hey,
fucking toe, you piece of shit.
Real quick, shameless plug. Evo is back on Whatnot.
Oh my god.
He graced me with his presence today. He came in hot, saying, "What's up?"
He did.
You know what I'm saying?
No, he didn't, bro.
He
did.
did. He came
But
in
we
hot.
blamed Shorty Skater because Shorty Skater said, "Evo, you won't say what got you banned," and he was like, "What's up?"
Oh my god, dude. He is.
He said, "What's up,
reckless,
Kenfolk?"
bro.
What up, Cam folk?
Oh man.
Tournament coming. Post will be up. Me and Javi are gonna create it. He's been gone on vacation. He's back now. We'll create it and make the post this week. Call of Duty tournament will be the first week of March, we believe. We're gonna double check the date. We're looking at a 7 p.m. Cali time, 10 p.m. mine and Gunny's Eastern time. So that'd be like 9 p.m. for
Central my time.
all my Tejas boys and girls. So if you guys want to get in that, hit us up on the Junk Drawer, hit us up on Nothing But Dough, hit us up on I Know a Guy Collectibles, hit us up on Gunny Ghost. Let us know you want to get in. There's only 52 slots. 4 winners will receive a prize. There will be a minimum of 2 games played per team. Maximum of 3 games played. I think the way that we've got the bracket broke down, maybe 4. But yeah, winner takes all. So that's what we're doing. We're gonna sign up 60, so we'll have 8 alternates. The last 8 people to give us their names and say they want to play. You don't have to have a team. You just have to come by yourself. The last 8 people to give us their names will be as alternates, so you'll be on standby. But everybody, even if you don't play Call of Duty, can come in to the game if you have it downloaded, obviously, and can view it and watch it. But we will stream it on the Junk Drawer, possibly. No, we won't do that.
I probably can. Okay.
Okay.
I might.
We'll try. If not,
Well,
I know Easy Cops will stream it.
So here's the thing: is that you can stream it individually, but like probably wouldn't be a smart idea to stream it.
Well, okay.
So not to like the extent. It's just not being able to stream it because like when you're tournament competitive wise, like anyone can watch, see where you are. It's real time, right? There's not really much of a delay here. So yeah, it's just one of those things. I don't know. And it's hard because then it would only focus on specific people streaming versus like, just focusing
so
on...
we'll have someone else go live, whether it'll be from my account or whatever, as a viewer. Because as a viewer, you can watch different players.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
We'll figure it out though. We'll have options for people to watch.
Yeah.
But,
all right. Well, fucking. What else? That's it, right?
Yeah, we're not sure if we're lined up for next week because of the con this week. It'll roll into Monday, Tuesday, so I don't know if they'll be back. But in 2 weeks, we will be rolling into our comic segment. So,
yeah,
that's it.
Well, we'll keep everybody posted.
Suck it easy.
Basically.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Have a great night. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe. Don't do dumb things. Spend your money inappropriately. And we'll rock out next week.
Yep. Don't forget, Gogeta's better than Vegeta.